Hello and welcome to the third and final day of the Razer Invitational Europe Tournament 3. We have got some incredible games for you today. We have weeded out the week and we are left with the Titans amongst the thousands that signed up for this third tournament. Of course, I'm your caster at Crowder3. I'm joined by the two cups of headsets and of course the band that ties us together, that producer of Pepito, which we haven't been able to give him a shout out for the whole stream. So little round of applause for Pepito, who has actually pretty much carried us through this whole thing. So thank you, Pepito. And of course, the left headset, Ryan, and the right headset, Jack. How are you guys feeling about this one?
Yeah, it could be better, man. As you mentioned, left with the Titans, day number 3, of course. Finals day, the most important one of them all, the time for players to show who is the best. We started with 2,000 trios. That's 6,000 people dropped across hundreds of servers. And we're left with the final 33. You can see the prize and the point breakdown on screen now. And really, you can have a look into exactly how today's going to work. We mentioned time and time again how important placements are. You can see on the right-hand side, how important they are. And you can see 70 points for a victory royale is exactly what everyone will be eyeing up today, because that's what's going to separate you from first, second and third. You've got to place high. You've got to be consistent. This is the day that matters the most.
Yeah, day number 3, and as you see there as well, top 3 teams, you will get to vote, vote for your MVP of the day. For the top, I believe, 9 performers, you will pick one. They will be able to win an extra €500 on top of the prize pool that they will win. And, you know, I'm really excited for day 3. Having a look over my shoulder here, just seeing at the leaderboard some big names already qualifying. You know, Vitality Nico is in there, Bad Sniper. We've got Andrea as well. Some, you know, big pros. I believe Saved is in there as well, flying the Irish flag for myself anyway. So I'm really excited to see what's going to happen.
Absolutely. We've got some absolute titans here. We've got Verrox, we've got Fire Hunters, we've got a lot of Alex, we've got Bad Sniper, as you've mentioned, Nikov as well. It is going to be a very close game, and it's going to be an absolute bloodbath. There's no other way to see it. And frankly, I cannot wait to get right into the action, because this is going to be some games you do not want to miss.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you in chat right now, we've just started our giveaway, so make sure to drop !Pringles after game 1. We'll be giving away a Pringles 25 pack for all of you to jump in on the action. If that isn't enough, drop !Ticket. Every hour you watch will continue for you to get a ticket. And at the end of the stream, there will be a random winner for a Razer Viper mouse. But of course, if that isn't all, then you can tweet at us your Fortnite clips using #YourChance and be one of 10 amazing winners to win yourself a Razer Viper mouse. And if you aren't done just yet on claiming all the free goodies that we give away throughout all these streams, then you can head to RazerInvitational.com and jump into the massive giveaway we've got going on there. It is huge. You don't want to miss it, so make sure to go and check out the website. But Jack, I'm going to throw you a question that might put you a bit on the spot. You know, flailing the Irish flag maybe, but I want to know, who are you predicting to take this one home? Looking at that scoreboard, there's a lot of competition today, and I'm wondering, you know, who's your eye on?
I mean, I did say Save It, you know, flying the Irish flag. It would be great to see him, you know, getting up there, getting to the top. But I'm going to have to go for a Solary Kinstar, Airwax, and Vitato. You know, I really think that that trio could shine in this final day. You know, top 33 teams. It should be really interesting to see what's going to happen. But, you know, as we all know, anything can happen in this game. We've got 5 games. You know, it's really all to play for. Placement's going to come into it. Seeing how aggressive teams are going to be is going to be very interesting. You know, placement is very important, as I've been saying. And, you know, I don't think we're going to see like very early on aggression. I think Storm Surge is going to come into it as well. You know, probably 70-60 people after the, you know, second circle closing in. It's going to be really interesting to see what's going to happen, to see who's going to die off spawn as well, because just the caliber of player that we have in this tournament has been absolutely ridiculous so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And I cannot wait to see them get started with the action. We're going to go to a quick little break, but in just a moment, we'll be bringing you this first game and what will be 5 coming up today.
I'm looking for change. You ain't letting me play. You ain't bringing me down now. I'm a talk of the big town.
Hello, 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 and welcome back. We were able to bless you with a very short break as we go straight into game one. There are no delays here. There is only action, and there is only, well, what will be a bloodbath in just a moment. We see so many teams dropping early as this battle bus empties very quickly. For the time being, it's going to be the finals starting now. Every team has fought for 2 days straight to get here. We have seen some incredible Fortnite being played, but it will all amount to this. Will it be worthwhile, or will it all be for nothing? We'll have to see.
Yeah, absolutely. As you mentioned, so many people jumping off quite early on in the battle bus beginning. In fact, I think around 3/4 of the lobby, and by the looks of things, have gone to that northern part of the map. So that top corner is going to be heavily, heavily contested. I'm looking at Coral Castle, quite an empty place, but just north of that, excuse me, a lot of players landing there. And of course, we've already left our predictions chat. Make sure to drop your predictions, let us know, and make sure to keep entering those giveaways all stream long. Plenty of options for you to win, but for the time being, I mean, as you mentioned, finals day, everyone wants that that win that little bit more. They've grinded through the first 2 days, and so now it's their opportunity to shine. And so for them, it will be as simple as playing for placement. I feel like we're not going to see any or really too much in terms of engagement right now, and I think we'll see that more towards the later stages. I'd expect to see, you know, storm surges, lots of action happening. I don't think we'll see all too much in that department on the early stages. As still, by the looks of things, there is a bit of carnage going on amidst the action. 93 players remain, but I think something to highlight though is just how important these games are. Every single one counts, and so the teams that are already leaving, already getting, you know, dismantled by others, it's quite a nerve-wracking start because every point counts here.
And yeah, every point counts. Nobody wants to go down early on, you know, but it's going to happen, especially with these POIs, people landing, you know, people are going to contest because a lot of people like to land at the same spot. I'm actually a bit surprised that we don't see more people then. As actually, we're going to see Voxer be knocked there by Gambit Toos, and we're going to see PSQ2 is going to be finished off by best player Freddy. And now Vox's finish is going to come in. So we've already lost one trio early on. 7 people have been already gone. As now we see Kinstar, the team that I tipped. He's going to actually pick up a blue tack. Very nice. But we're going to jump in over to Jamshoot. He's going to be knocked and he is going to be taken down. Bad Sniper is down as well. Fire Hunter and Wings coming under a little bit of pressure as Wings spamming with that AK will get the knock. He's going to need to get the finish on High Chris. As he does, he needs to get that refresh, and it's very important that he did. Fire Hunter has gone down, and he is going to be eliminated. Nateify is going to be the last player standing. We now basically have a 1 versus 1. Onyx Wings needs to shockwave out. He's only on 45 HP. Needs to try and get away because I am fairly sure Nate is a lot higher for the moment. He does have bandages available, so he will get up to 75 HP if he can, but Nate is putting under so much pressure. Goes for a tack shot, won't be able to hit it, and we are just gonna switch away. I wonder what is going to happen there. Yeah, Nateify is going to take down Onyx Wings, and that is going to be another trio eliminated. And Nate can actually recover those cards and get his teammates back into the game.
Absolutely, and I'll tell you what, with Fire Hunter going down, that's one of the favourites of the tournaments going down. We'll have to see how the rest of them fare with what is essentially going to be a bit more of a engagement towards Craggy Cliffs. We see this kind of team of Alpha and Co surrounding One Night Stand, and Co as they're just, well, trapped in this tower. Luckily, they do have the mats, they do have the snipers. However, we'll have to see to what avail it works out for them. Again, we've already seen a couple of teams be eliminated so far. We've already seen a couple of players go out, and we've seen the kind of trend over the last couple of days, that being we end up with a bit of a lull towards the end of the first stage and that second stage, where every team, after the initial skirmishes, take a moment to heal up. But it looks like we're still in that skirmish stage with One Night Stand being swarmed, falling very low on HP, and being knocked. Train H dives down upon him. Flows is going to try and res his teammates. He gets himself comfortably into a box. Unfortunately, One Night Stand has been completely and utterly executed, running out of time and HP as he's taken down. We'll see the follow-up push come through, and unfortunately for Flows, all he can do is loot the carcass of his teammate as he looks to avenge him.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to try and take the walls now. Just simply applying pressure through burning those materials. Hasn't got too much ammo left in the SMG, and so now forced to switch away. I tell you what, Blaster nearly caught Flows out there, as he was dropped down a fair bit. Unfortunately for them, he doesn't take any HP, but of course for him, it's as simple as trying to get on up, and that nearly was costly. You know, using that grenade could have truly cost his teammates life, and it actually does so in the end. He tries to impulse away, and he will do so, and I think at this point he's going to try and play for placement. He realizes he's not got many materials left, he's got nothing to do, and he is going to be sniped out and gone. Very well played to the trio there. They managed to get themselves in a very nice position and claim that area of land. But more importantly, let's jump to the action now. I'm looking right now as it is Pat J alongside his teammates looking to try and help his team out. Yet to get a kill and yet to actually deliver in any other sense. In fact, let's do a bit of damage, and I think that's the first bit Pat J's done all day. He will be looking for more, of course. Early stages, early doors dictates that this is a perfect opportunity to try and get themselves an early lead as he tries to do so. Unfortunate tack shot's going to cost him the majority of his health, a 33-36, and with the end of that, his reign on this build is over. He's dropped down to the abyss, and his teammate Abby falls as well. Kiarche doing a great job, and that moves them further and further up the point scoring as of right now. Still yet to get in a point where we're looking at placements, but most certainly kills are going to help in that scenario as we look towards Craggy Cliffs. Pharrell and his team looking to run on away, not even going to try to oppose a threat against the other people north of them, instead heading right into another trio south. There's shots rattling off, they've got the truck at the ready. What is their next move?
And I mean, a nice play there coming out from Gambit Toos and his trio, Karachi and also Navi Tor, you know, getting 3 kills early on, getting 15 points on the board early. You know, it's exactly what you want. You want to, you know, if you're being contested early on, you want to come out on top, and they came out relatively unscathed. You know, there wasn't a lot of damage put on it, maybe a few shots hit here and there, but as you see, look, they've 6 kills already. They've full HP, a big pot on Karachi, should I say, as well, if he needs it. But right now, they are just around Slurpy Swamp. They will have the barrels there as well to get Gambit Toos up to full HP. And, you know, rotating out, they're already on 30 points. It's absolutely fantastic. And it's exactly how you want to start game 1.
We've got Save It and Go now, just making their way back over towards the zone, just trying to get there in time and trying to establish a semi-decent position. Having a car at this point would be absolutely amazing. Unfortunately, they are going to have to take the long route. They're going to have to hightail their way across the country over towards the Salty Towers. Again, they're close enough to be able to take a bit of an engagement before they rotate in, but that time is ticking, and that zone will start closing sooner than they think. Again, is coming in now, and frankly, I think in a moment, maybe not after this dorm, as we enter the second, it wouldn't surprise me if we do see a surge, which should trigger a mass fight, really, between every team along the outskirts of this next circle.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're looking right now, Xavier Browner and Demon Rabbit, they're simply moving north towards Salty Towers, and they are going to have a bit of a tussle there, I would say. But looking now at Kiriachi, Slurpy Swamp is where him and his team are located right now. They're going to simply try and move on in with the storm and try and get themselves comfortably in that second zone. There are people behind him, and there are people just north of him as well, so that he's got to be careful of basically everywhere. And I think that's the most important part of Finals Day. You know, we were talking about this in day 1 and how, you know, little you have to care about your rotations compared to how much you have to care about them today. Everything matters. Your micro and macro management in these scenarios is so... Oh my god. Hold the thought just there, because Kinzel has absolutely felt the wrath of a sniper rifle. Headshot clean, ripping his head clean off, dropped to the floor, and Zinni not done just yet. Charging on in, using the sports car to try and drive on around. He now has the angle. He knows that they're there, and now he's going to try and cause a problem. Tries to take the wall, does so, edits on through. They're going to have to jump to the next box. They do pick his teammate up in the meantime, but it's going to be carnage towards the outskirts of Salty Towers. Everyone trying to fight for their lives, but of course, it is going to be Zinni that has a huge advantage, considering that headshot landed, using chug splashes literally everywhere right now, and by the looks of things, they're just going to evacuate the area. Not going to risk it, but they're going to run right into the jaws of Save It if they're not careful enough, because they're simply waiting on the outskirts, hunting for these players as they rotate on through, and he's got to be very cautious of their next moves.
Yeah, just going to ramp and just try and tarp into the circle, you know, just don't want to take this engagement at all. A good knock coming out there from Kaspersa and his trio, and you know, we've seen so much of them in the earlier tournaments, you know, in tournament 1 and 2. We haven't seen much of them in tournament 3, but making it to the final, these guys are definitely a force to be reckoned with. But we're going to move on over here to Kiri, who is up on the high ground, as he, I believe, has just lost a teammate. Laurie has gone down to will be able to drop him, and now best player Freddy is going to build up to Kiri and just maybe group up with him. They're on full HP. They are going to get up close and personal, though, with the team that is down below. Best player Freddy going to take a little bit of damage, and Kiri just struggling, just battling himself for the minute. There is going to be a knock onto 2 from best player Freddy. He's going to back away and heal up now, and now the shots rattling on in. Another knock coming in. The finish going to come in from Kiri as well on both players. Shizhanik is going to go down, and I mean, there's only one player left. I believe the reboot card was picked up as well. As we have a quick look at the map, everybody kind of scattered, everybody kind of, you know, equally spread out. You want to be making your way, though, towards that 3rd circle, and we could see things get interesting from here on out.
Yep, absolutely. Again, and being able to get into that little box as well with all of that loot, that is going to last them. The mats, the healing, the guns, the ammo, that is going to last them deep, deep, deep into what will be the 4th and 5th zone. So they are really going to be in a comfortable position moving forward. For the time being, of course, we are going to see KSI, Light, and Co make their way on forward. And unfortunately, as the Storm Surge comes on in, not only do they not have any players around them, they are only just above that Storm Surge, luckily, and thankfully as well, because unfortunately for them, they're away from this next zone, which means they may have to try and find a car and or find a way to hightail it out of here momentarily.
Yeah, absolutely. You made a perfect point in that, you know, being only 86 damage above could cause serious problems, as there you go. It's going to drop to 43. And admittedly, while they are above that threshold, things can change very quickly because no one is around them. They've got to find their rotate in. And should this continue, this Storm Surge continue, then they might be dropping below the threshold as others do damage. And they have no one in their sights to do damage to. And it could be really costly for them. It could cost a lot of healing. And it's going to cause serious problem. But looking right now, 78 players alive as best player Freddy picks up a knock onto Holy. It is going to be a very interesting scenario to be in by the looks of things. I think this is just an AI up ahead. I don't think it's anyone in particular. I'm not too sure, however. We'll have to wait and see. I think, yeah, it is an AI at this point. So they'll be able to move on. Still no one to be able to shoot, but we're going to jump from 0 to hero quite quickly here, as it is going to be Kiriachi, Toos, and 7tor that are simply trying to get into this new zone, using a vehicle to get on up, pushing on through, of course, holding the build's the most important part, because now they decide to eject from the vehicle, and now they try to find themselves in the new zone. The storm's against them. They do have a rift fish in their hands if they want to use it, but by the looks of things, they're going to use the chug splashes, and instead, they're going to hold off these players just for a little bit longer. They don't mind the storm ticking for 1 right now, but as it does form, it will start to tick for 2. And there you go. They realize this quickly. They're going to continue to move on forward and try to take as minimal damage as possible. I hear the AI shooting as well by the sounds of things somewhere else. So it is pressure from quite literally everything right now. You've got the IO. They've got the players ahead of them. They've got basically everything to be cautious for. And now they've got to be cautious for the Storm Surge. As it does become active, players are going to have to be careful that they remain above this threshold, because things will start to really shape up to be quite detrimental to some of these teams that are below. And for those that are slightly above, well, they're lucky because it's just deactivated. Life is good for them, and people will be able to continue on through. 70 players still in the server, but 25 teams. We talked about these games were going to be slow, but my word, did I not expect this sort of slow play. I did not expect it to be this sort of pace. I guess I expected things to go at least a little bit quicker.
And yeah, things, you know, it's started to speed up, of course, with the Storm Surge, with the amount of people that are still left in the server. You know, that's what it's going to be. You're going to have people, you know, pushing to get these kills because they're forced to. You don't want to take damage to Storm Surge. You don't want to go down. You know, you don't want to lose all of your heals early on before you even get close to the end game. As we have a look now, Sammy and his trio are just going to rotate into the 3rd zone 20 seconds before that starts moving in. So just going to get in, just going to box up where they can, and hopefully not get focused too hard, because that is definitely not what you want. You don't want to be burning through mats early on as well. You want to keep them close. You want to keep the mats high in supply, and you don't want to be, you know, taking any damage through your walls. As right now, the MVPs, in my opinion anyway, so far, Karachi and his trio, we see the Storm Surge Warning. They don't have to worry about that. They already are 1,500 or so above it. As now Sharps, Spectre, and Mashes are being focused a little bit. They are in zone. Gonna just farm up a little bit of wood as well. He has a decent amount of builds, 77 in all, as he is just gonna hone in with that sniper, see what he can find, have a look to see if anyone's gonna peek, see if he's gonna punish anyone. But he looks content with just boxing up here. He doesn't want to take any engagements that he doesn't need to. If he can find a snipe, if he can find a pick, yeah, he'll take it. But you definitely don't want to get focused. You definitely don't want to take damages now. He's going to spam on into Verox up onto the high ground. No damage going to be done. As now he's just going to keep editing, keep resetting, just having a look, just keeping an eye on everyone, just keeping tabs. And that's exactly what you need to do 30 seconds before the zone reaches its destination.
Absolutely, and for the most part, it looks like he was just sizing up Tomahawk, thinking if maybe he could push it, maybe if he could risk it. And yeah, the player to watch out for, yeah, the player that you really mentioned was Kirasachi. And again, 5 kills to his name already. A great performance from him so far. And you know, he's embodied that skill. Let's see how he fares moving forward. Those he has just jumped on in, and he does have a lot of players to worry about as they continue spamming wherever possible. We've got 7-Door as well, just trying to catch out the odd member. Instead, it's Tuzo though to fall down. And looks like he might actually just be finished as well, falling very low on HP as Death Rains from above. He'll be eliminated, meaning that as healing tech tips cuts him down. Let's see how the rest of them fare. Once again, that new zone being shown, gonna close in just a minute as well, meaning that for 7-Door and Kiriachi, it's going to be a very rough road ahead. They met up as best they can, but their utility's running very low. They have to run a gauntlet to get here, and that's really started to take its toll now as they start trying to spam down Bad Sniper and Hype Chris and Co. Unfortunately, unable to tag them down just yet, as Hype Chris falls very low on HP, but alas, he'll survive, at least for the time being.
Yeah, absolutely. 40 seconds until this zone moves, and unfortunately for Kiriachi, well, unfortunately, I was going to say they're on the far side of the zone, but considering they just took a sniper rifle shot as well, that's definitely not going to help their case whatsoever, as now time as well is against them, as they will have to go for the res. More fortunately, though, for people like KS1 Light, he's just simply going to box up, try and move closer and closer to this zone. He's got edits on all of these walls. He can just move his way on forward. Try not to take any damage. Him and his 2 teammates close by, and they'll be able to simply move on forward. No problems at all for them as they continue to move on in. 67 players still in the server. And to be honest with you, I'm expecting a storm surge if this zone shrinks in and nothing too much happens. You know, we still got 2/3 of the lobby, 2/3 of the teams as well, and so things are really going to have to start picking up. And there we go, storm surge warning, a little bit sooner than I expected, but most certainly deserved, because players really need to start moving and getting some damage done. I see Ref's guard up in the distance to the right. They're probably my prediction to win today. Obviously, you know, Jack, you were waving the Irish flag earlier on, but of course, it's over 5 games. Just because you've got game 1 in the bag doesn't mean that you're safe from game 2, 3, 4, and 5. You've really got to be cautious and on your feet for every single one. And for these players, this is only the beginning, I would argue, to this very bumpy road that they have to take to ensure that they get that top 3 for that prize pool placement. But of course, let's not jump the gun too much. Still 57 players within the server, and look where everyone's grouped. That top left side looking very empty. That bottom right side, well, you know, if you're in that area, you're definitely going to have some fun, because it is jam-packed full of people right now.
Yeah, jam-packed, and it's probably not where you want to be at all, because everyone is just applying pressure. And now we just see the storm surge warning is still active. And now we just see Greenhill just gonna box up, you know. Storm surge now gonna become active. They are above the threshold. They are way above the threshold. They won't have to really worry about it too much, but these more passive players are gonna have to get a move on. They're gonna have to start putting teams under a little bit of pressure, and I wonder who is gonna go down. I believe actually I spotted in the last time in the kill feed, Hykrits and his trio have been taken out. They were definitely one of the favorites, definitely one of the tips. I believe it was your pick, Peter, that have already gone down in game 1. Yeah, a little bit unlucky, but you know, still a long way to go, Ryan. You touched on that as well. You know, just because you do well in game 1 doesn't mean you're going to win the tournament altogether. You need to have a solid performance throughout. You need to average a I want to say around 60-70 points, or else you could be in a little bit of trouble. CL Rotary, I believe, has gone down maybe to fall damage. Not what you want to see at all. Alphen is just boxed up. He's under a little bit of pressure, but it seems to have sufficed for the moment. Yasin, his teammate, though, is going to be knocked. He is going to be finished off as well. Own Tech Tips is going to be finished by Miro as well. As now, Milo is the last player alive in his trio. He does have 3 kills, however, but he is succumbing to a little bit of pressure. And Dreta and Refsguard are the culprits here, spamming into this metal box, just wasting materials if they can. Wave Kiko is going to be taken down. Vitality Air Wax going to be picking up that one as well. 45 players still left in the server and 18 trios. This is going to get really, really interesting.
Without doubt, again, it's going to be these players getting up close and personal with one another. We see that eye shrink, and this time it's going to move. It's going to be an absolute build fest now as everyone spams into each other's boxes. 44 players left standing, which means we're going to see a hell of a lot of gunfire as we're going to see contact erupt round the ring. We're going to see Kanade fall early on, followed by Ibunhai, I think that's how you say it, as one last knocks him. Neither player's dead, though. They still have a chance. But for the most part, it's going to be Vickers to try and spam down towards that power team member, trying to shut him down. Ibunhai ends up falling as Wakey also falls before he's finished, actually, instantly by Savid's team. Ibunhai able to take out one more, a second in quick succession. As more kills go either way, it's going to be spammed down from Misor to try and shut down Demon. Rabid able to continue up this damage and able to keep up the tempo as it's a mass exodus into the sky by someone's Rift Fish. Following this mass exodus, we're going to see many, many players look to swarm down and descend onto Demon, Raker, and Scram and their teams. For now, it looks like Savid has done this quick little drop, trying to get to the floor as quick as humanly possible so he can, in turn, shoot upwards as Nikoff takes a substantial amount of damage. He loses his shields, he takes half his HP removed as Verox gets downed up towards the top there. As I say downed, actually, he's still surviving by the skin of his teeth. More shots ring out around the board. Everyone kind of descends into what's essentially just the middle of this structure. A couple of seconds left now before we move into what will end up being the 7th zone. Again, it's going to be utter chaos right now. Verox so low on HP, trying to outrun these players. He's able to be down, though, unfortunately, as Fixie gets the final say in the matter. Airways trading onto Zara, as well as more shots continue going on as we hit the Storm Surge. It's chaos around the board, essentially, as we wait to see who's able to encroach this top ranking.
Yeah, absolutely. This really is crunch time for everyone on the server right now. Look at the amount of people in that mini-map. It's all about height now. It's all about who has this high ground. And luckily for Tohaj, Percolino, and Jindawi, they are simply the kings of the land. They're going to continue to build on up. They want to try and take as much height as possible because this is a perfect example of why height is needed. You have the height, you can just simply gun people down from above, and you're fine. You don't have to worry about anything. And Jindawi simply going to try and continue on through. He knows at this point he's just going to try and sit above the mountain, sit very well nicely into cover and try and gun people down. Very luckily for him as well, as Savid picking up one. It's Blaster to take down Savid in the end. However, Savid getting another knock onto Nico, and its pick is falling as well. Savid seems to be doing so much work this game. I'm interested to see where they place because, of course, I've seen Savid so much in the kill feed, and that's not even including the other 2 people in his trio. So, a very good job from them. Nonetheless, we're into crunch time. 19 players now, excuse me, between 19. Things are really coming down to the crunch, to the wire, and it really is crunch time. And now we see jump pad used. It is going to be unfortunately denied. Tohaj going to try and pick up some loot on the way up, and in fact scoops up some mats. That's absolutely huge for him, and he'll continue to do so. Try and pick up more and more, as it'll be the Stormlight that shrinks once again. 12 players, 6 teams, averaging at around 2 players a team. Of course, it's not going to be the even way throughout, as Fixie caught in the storm. I think he's just going to get gunned down. There's no way of him getting in. In fact, he is going to be able to heal up, and so he will survive as the storm moves towards him. And everyone seems to be quite happy and calm with everything going on right now. And oh my god, the impulse play. There's nothing so much completely out, getting gunned down. Restguard says no more, takes the high ground. The E11 player denying Tohaj of life. Jendawi has to drop down as well, and now forced to the low ground. I hope we have the replay of that, because my word, was that a play to not forget.
Not coming in. We are going to see there are only 6 players left and 4 different teams. Fixie is going to be taken down. Sharps getting that kill. He is alone for the minute. 3 trios. I believe there are 1 trio and 2 solos. Sharps is going to be knocked, and the team up on the high ground, it is going to be Scram, Repsguard, and Andretta, and they are going to pick up game 1. 10 kills and a victory royale. Absolutely insane. That'll put them on around 120 points after the first game. And what a way to start things off today.
Absolutely, that team did extremely well towards the end. They were able to work together, raining death from above on pretty much everyone. They had one last member kind of stacked down towards the low ground who was able to just annihilate anyone who even considered coming their way. But let's take a look at this intel moments. It's going to be with Jedami as well, ready to take down anyone who comes their way. We see Verox as well, who just swung a little too close to them, almost losing his entire amount of HP. Same again when him and Tohaj, they were in perfect runnings to take this whole game, as they just had the high ground. They were consistently doing damage, they were consistently knocking players. But what's surprising, they don't have many kills. That's a lot of damage, but not much conversion, and unfortunately, that might be what comes back to bite them.
Yeah, absolutely. And right now you see Jendawi that died to the storm eventually. Fixie gets dropped by Sharps, and by now I think it was a 1 versus 1 versus 3. Scram, of course, with Refsguards and Indretta just gunning down from above. That high ground play was so slick, and they make it work. Congratulations to them. My prediction pulling through for game 1, but as we touched on earlier, it's game 1. There's still 4 more to play. There's still plenty of opportunity for teams to come back, and we are going to throw it to a quick break. But before we do, congratulations to Chale113. You've won the Pringles giveaway, my friend. Make sure to have your whispers on. I think someone's going to contact you in just a second. I think it's Kazak there. He's going to drop your whisper and let you know how to claim that. But of course, make sure to enter the giveaway as well going on today. Exclamation mark ticket for that. But we are going to throw it to a quick break. But when we're back, we'll be jumping into game 2. Don't go anywhere.
I'm looking for change. You ain't letting me play. You ain't bringing me down now. I'm a talk of the big town.
Hello and welcome back. We just saw an incredible first game. Truly, that to be impressed by. And of course, that little pulse grenade at the end just propelled those players in the high ground straight out into the zone was absolutely breathtaking. Of course, we have Refsguard, Scram, and Dirta to be able to take that first victory. Of course, sitting at the top with 120 points, 10 kills, and a victory has served them very, very well. Of course, the follow-up is, though, their players behind them actually. Second place, a very big distance between first and second. That being Graveton, Manlust, and Exmir, I think that's how you say it. Only on 86. Team below them, though, 83. There is a very, very close margin between these two teams. Essentially, Rescut, he falls instantly, then that space is going to be up for grabs to anyone. You need to be consistent rather than good for a couple of maps in this series. So again, hope you guys are all having a wonderful day, and well, without further ado, Ryan and Jack, how are you guys feeling about that first game?
Yeah, amazing, man. It was my prediction. You know, I said that these guys were going to win the thing today. And so a great start. I mean, for me at least, I'm looking and I'm quite chuffed with that. But of course, as you mentioned, one bad game and it really could turn south. All these teams have great potential. You know, it really is the of the crop, if that's the saying. It really is the best of the best, like in that sense, in the fact that, you know, anything can happen. These teams, they can turn up in any way, shape or form. And in any of these games, it really just is a fight for consistency more than anything. You know, Jack was saying that you need an average of around 70 points to really put yourself up there and have a great chance of coming first. And the fact that this team have gone out and got 120 points in a game is quite breathtaking, to be quite honest with you. But without further ado, let's jump into game number 2 of 5. Looking at where the battle bus is taking us. A lot of people releasing early on as well. We were looking on the first game how it was all towards that south side, and now, well, we're looking more towards the north as we jump into game number 2. Of course, lots of places to land. Teams can use this time to farm up and have fun, but more importantly, they've got to bring their A game, because yet another game in which they've got to secure themselves some points so they can get onto that scoreboard.
And yeah, you know, really important. Game number 2 coming up here. Should be pretty interesting. You know, I see everyone having a look, you know, spreading out across the map. Everyone seems to be fairly evenly spread. Craggy Cliffs, we might see a little bit of action, maybe towards Pleasant as well. Going to jump right into Wave, Jana stuck on top, and Andalex, who, you know, we're definitely one of the favourites coming into this one. They always seem to perform in this tournament over the first 2 events anyway, and indeed in this one. Of course, they have arrived, or have qualified, should I say, for this one. As you see, Hycrits actually picking up a knock and picking up a kill, I believe. Gambatus just being finished there. Skydun is going to be the one to knock him and take him down. Verox, Mexi, and I couldn't remember the last one there. As we just see now, Hycrits, he's actually taken all 3 players out. And again, Firehunter and his trio, you know, they're already gone. And they died, I'm pretty sure they died early on in the first game as well. So an absolute disastrous start for them, really. Voxa is going to be knocked out. Karachi is going to finish him off too. And as we have a look, Hycrits, Natify, and Bad Sniper, you know, they started off playing very well. And 3 kills early on in this one, taking out, you know, one of the big trios. It's a pretty big statement, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, for the time being, a bit of a lull. Frey will be taken down early on. Again, a little bit of damage here or there. And for the most part, we are just waiting to see what the response is from these teams. Again, there haven't been too many stacked up drops. Again, we're going to see Razer try and push forward onto this last man left. That's being that 7-tour player. Again, we saw him and Co do really well last game. Very frag heavy rather than very placement heavy. And with them falling early now, that is really going to send them down on that scoreboard. So great little opening for Vox and company. But we'll have to see how they fare moving forward. Now they have control of the Slurpy Swamp. Let's see how much loot they can accumulate before that first zone comes in.
Yeah, so he just picked up that reboot card as well, so they will be able to swiftly move on and get towards it. Have a look. Anyone there? Nope, you're all good. And so they can go and pick up their teammate, and no problems at all for them. They've got to be careful, though, because Kiriachi is still in the picture just north of them towards the left, or rather the right side of Slurpy Swamp. They have got to be quite cautious of him, obviously, when going to pick up their teammate. But more importantly, things are looking very silent. You know, nothing too much happening towards that south side. But let's have a look at the middle of the map. The Colossal Coliseum. It's colossal for a reason, and it's looking like a fight's about to break out. Blackie from BDS, and of course the OVA players, Demon and Fast Rocky as well. A team that you haven't really heard all too much from in the last game. Looking at where they've placed on the scoreboard, I don't see them quite the way up. Maybe I'm just blind and I can't see their names, but I didn't see them do all too well in the first game, so I'm expecting they're on that bottom half of the scoreboard. But of course, don't count them out of this one just yet. But the amount of people in this area, we're bound to see some action quite shortly here, as Pharrell taking this time to loot up instead of trying to, you know, go for the initial engagement, trying to pick up the pieces of the puzzle that's going to be scattered across every depth of this Coliseum. They've just got to be cautious of where everyone is, though, as Blackie quickly realises that in the area lie a fair more people than just one trio. In fact, there's 2 other trios alongside, possibly even a third by the looks of the map. So 4 teams here. They've got to be cautious of where everyone's at. But looking at the map right now, it seems to be everyone sort of spread out. I know it's Steamy Stacks. There lies a couple of players. Craggy Cliffs could be a bit of action going down as well, as there's more teams moving in quite close together. But the Colossal Coliseum seems to be the only place right now in which players are sort of bunched together, and I think that shows that everyone at this point is more than happy to play for placements, as 2-8 is able to take down Decryptos and Wakey as well, and Decryptos is able to take down Sheer. So people just securing themselves some points in terms of kills, but not for placements, as Pharrell times perfectly with his team. Guys, get ready to pull the trigger. 3, 2, 1. But of course, that backfires majorly as Asteria Bryce, he's going to take a swift shot, and he's not going to be alive for much longer. He is downed, and now they are going to simply use this as a way to get on out. And oh, Pharrell, oh, he's taken so much damage in the process. He's not got too much to heal as well. He's got 100 in shields, but nothing to help in terms of the HP department, as Bryce is most certainly going to go down. And by the looks of things, Holy's time is imminent as well. Very well played from the trio, hunting them down, as it will be Blackie, of course, on the front foot here.
And yeah, applying the pressure. They've already picked up 1 kill. Holy is going to be knocked there. It's actually Falix that is going to get that kill. Going for a snipe there. Blackie will just miss out, as Nipsey is going to get a kill onto Pharrell. But, you know, making good use of this heavy assault rifle, the legendary heavy assault rifle, as we've seen, you know, doing a little bit of damage. It can be very influential. It can take a lot of shield away from these players, as you know, a lot of action early on towards Colossal Coliseum, a very heavily contested area, as now we're going to jump on into Nipsey's POV. They already picked up 2 kills and will be looking to improve on last game. I believe they went down probably around mid-game. I'm not quite sure on exactly when they went down, but they were towards, I believe, the top of day 2, if I'm not mistaken, maybe even number 1 after day 2. So we'll be hoping to be on top when this day finishes. Of course, now we're going to see one last. He's going to be knocked. A little bit unlucky for his team. I believe they are towards the top end of the leaderboard today. Of course, the top 32 teams. One team, sadly, is not with us. Probably could not make it. A little bit unlucky. Not what you want at all. You want to be playing for the insane prize pools. But now, as we have a quick look at the map, you know, it's pretty evenly spread. We're not seeing too much action early on. 5 trios are already eliminated, but everybody seems happy enough just to rotate in, not taking, you know, too many engagements. So it's pretty interesting. I wonder, are we going to see, you know, this game speed up? Are we going to see a slow pace game, or is it going to, you know, get quicken up? Is it going to get a bit more lively in the next few moments?
I have the cheeky suspicion that we may end up seeing another Storm Surge, and if this is the kind of trend being set, then we're going to see a Storm Surge every single game we play right now. Once again, we end up with essentially a very, very slow-paced game up until the final couple of zones, and then the whole area just erupts into constant gunfire at every team left standing. So we end up with quite a lull in this area leading up. So we see the odd skirmish here or there, but for the most part, we are going to see a lot of rotations, a lot of positioning, and for frankly, a lot of teams, their main focus is going to be preparing for that final kind of spree of rounds.
Yeah, I mean, right now, nothing too much happening, and as you mentioned, this slow pace really is just setting up what could be quite an interesting game for Storm Surges. I think that you've perfectly summed up the fact that there's going to be basically one every game at this point, because of how important these players realize that, you know, how important these placement points really are. They're not something to mess around with, as you'll quickly realize, is you can really start building your pace on the leaderboards. You know, 1 victory, 70 points. If you're on 0 right now, get 0 kills and a win, I mean, obviously people are going to move, but that will slot you in at around 6th place. You know, 6th place currently is sitting at 50 points, and so this really is an opportunity for everyone to try and get back on their feet. As I mentioned, early doors, everyone can make their way on through and find themselves higher and higher up that scoreboard. You've just got to topple the current kings of the server right now, Refsguard, Scram, and Endretta. But of course, that's very easily doable. You know, one game and it really could turn this whole leaderboard upside down. One bad game from them or one great game from someone else, it really could lead to catastrophe, as we wait and see now. Just north of Salty Towers, a lot of teams converging towards the north side of the Stormite. They'll simply be waiting for their time to push, their time to rotate. But more importantly, this could be where we could see a fairly large fight break out here.
Yeah, we could see a lot of people being caught rotating, and it's not what you want. A nice shot there from Skovbo, as he will tag up, I believe it was Kiri, doing a little bit of damage there. They're going to have to heal up. They don't want to, you know, take that engagement, especially low HP, especially after getting hit with that sniper shot. Now, Skovbo, he's going to rotate in with his team, just going to farm up mats where they can. Of course, there's 1 minute and 15 seconds left before this storm starts moving. But, you know, they have max distance to go. They have to get a move on. They have to go directly south on the map. They have to get into the circle early on, and they don't want to be caught out by these teams that are rotating with them. Of course, it's very, very heavily contested towards that north side of the map. So we could definitely see a team not make it into this second zone. We are going to move on over, however. Slurpy Swamp is quite heavily contested as well. A lot of teams just boxing up, farming mats where they can. Nobody's really taking any fights. Everyone seems happy enough. It's a peace treaty going on at the moment. Everybody's saying, you know what? We're not going to shoot at you. You don't shoot at us. Everybody's happy. You know, we'll all play for placement. Wait until the storm forces us to fight, or indeed Storm Surge comes into play. Everybody, you know, knows how important placement is. Everybody knows, you know, what is up for grabs indeed today. Everybody wants to come out on top. Everybody wants to win that cash prize, or indeed some Razer peripherals. And I wonder who it is going to be. Who is going to be the trio that is going to be on top at the end of this final day of our Razer Invitational?
Yeah, and unfortunately, the kind of unspoken laws, the treaties, the pacts, they only last as far as your trust for your opponents do. And frankly, with the Storm Surge hitting, I doubt we'll see that pact last again. It's going to be these players in the form of Scram and Co get caught out in the valley. There's a bunch of shots ring on out. On the other side of that is going to be a scene falling early on, and there you go. Saber takes him down, and just like that, that'll mark the end of that pact towards Slurpy Swamp. But we're now going to see a lot of players all just engage one another around the swamp. Because we've had such a passive start, it means that there aren't going to be many teams at all above that threshold, and even those who are, they're only going to be able to be, you know, micromillimetrically above it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this damage threshold is really going to separate those that are really underperforming and those that are very much doing everything in their power to stay alive. As you can see right now, the winners of Game 1, Scram, Resguard, and Endretta, simply hiding just out on the outskirts of the storm here. And a lot of people are about to join them, so maybe it could be an early exit for them. Instead, it won't be. They are just going to charge down more AI. They're going to try and grab themselves some loot, grab themselves a great opportunity to continue. In fact, he does take a fair bit of shield loss for that, but they'll drop him, pick up that RPG, and no problems at all for them. That's going to be a great weapon for them to use in these later stages. Most certainly, going to help in that sense, but to what avail will it be? We'll find out shortly as the second storm continues to close in, and to be honest with you, this game seems to have picked up the pace from the last, but my word, there's so many teams alive right now, 26 of them to be precise, 78 players, as Freddy will pop the Rift Fish, probably going to deploy his parachute early. In fact, he's going to nosedive to the floor. He's picked out where he wants to go with him and his team, and now they're going to try and get in towards the new zone. They spot out the players ahead. They hear the shots. They're like, you know what? Let's try and dive on these people. Instead, he's going to try and get in. In fact, I've got to be careful behind, and there you go. That's the problem if you don't build in, because people will nail you, and just like that, Freddy falls, and now it's on his team, Laurie and Kyrite, the only two men remaining of that trio, to simply try and carry the weight as the storm surge becomes active. Players are going to feel the wrath of that as well, and this really could be punishing for those that are below. And for Refsguard and Co, they're only slightly above, and as you mentioned, Peter, things can really change in a blink of an eye. You could be 1 minute fairly above, and the next minute you really could be in the depths and have to try and push someone, have to do some damage. Otherwise, you're going to definitely start taking some unnecessary damage to that.
Yeah, having a look here, you know, 136 above, just doing little bits of damage, just chipping away at players, and it's exactly what you need to do when you're, you know, you're hovering around this threshold. You just need to do little bits of damage here and there. You don't need to get too aggressive, as Andretta is actually taking a lot of damage. Floppers are going to be dropped for him to heal up. We're actually going to see Laurie be knocked there by Sejnik. He will be able to get the kill as well onto him. But your game one winners for the moment, Refsguard, Scram, and Andretta, they had to do a little bit of damage. Storm Surge has gone away for the moment, so they don't have to worry about that for the minute. They can play a bit more passive now. Brig is going to be knocked, and he is going to be taken care of, I believe. There are 67 players, so you know, just over 2/3 of the lobby are left for the minute, as Refsguard is just going to farm up all the mats that he can, as the storm now begins to move on in a minute and 20 seconds till the third storm reaches its destination. But we're now going to jump over to Andalex, Janice, and Duck on top. Definitely one of the favorite trios today. If you were a gambling man, you know, you definitely put money on these guys, because they have been absolutely insane throughout these Razer tournaments, these Razer Invitationals. As now, just looking around in Bill's, Temperino is going to be taken down in the kill feed there. Andalex having a look, just having a look for a snipe. He's actually focused somebody in the box. He thinks that there is just one player there. The spam coming on through. No damage going to be done. That player, Kande, I believe, will live to see another day, as Andalex and Duck on top and Janice, they decide, you know, it's not really worth it at all. But now, Andalex just going for a snipe. He misses it there. He's happy enough just to go back into his little hidey hole for a few moments and wait for this storm to reach its destination.
Unfortunately for him, he isn't actually in the zone as the storm comes on, and he is going to have to move in just a moment. And that will see him do now, as he'll just readjust very quickly again. He can actually work his way through the maze of buildings just to get into it. And again, there's nothing wrong with just kind of hiding and playing for placement, as you said before. I'll have to see how these teams fare, because once we hit this fourth zone now, we're going to see these players forced into a more and more of a choke, and unfortunately a lot of these teams are going to have to rotate, and as they move on forward, this is when we're going to start seeing the chaos erupt. We don't see any downs, we don't see any fights just yet, but it's sure as hell going to start fairly soon.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you mentioned, as this fourth zone closes in, everyone's going to be forced closer together, and I think a storm surge at this point really could mess some people up here. You know, the fact that they've got the pressure of rotating in, which seems to be that everyone's done it quite comfortably already. I think that everyone else has just got to be a little more cautious of their surroundings, because everyone seems to be built up towards the top side of this storm by Slurpy Swamp. And of course, it's a good place to try and grab yourself some materials, but at the same time, is it really worth that risk? That sort of added fear of everyone else being in the area. Of course, you don't know the amount of people in that area until you look back at something like this and realize how congested this top side is and how problematic this could become should the worst happen. And so we'll have to wait and see. But for the time being, we're watching Sejanik right now simply farm up, grabbing himself more and more metal. Going to try and get himself up into the 500 mark, so he can have basically max materials, because of course at this stage, if you have a lot of materials, more than likely you're going to survive to the later stage. If you're looking right now, Fixie, Zinni and Casper up top on that high ground, more to the point though, convincingly as well. They've got some height. I see Nebs in the distance as well, and well, that sounds only screamed that there is going to be a storm surge warning. Luckily for Blackie, the team that annihilated a couple of players earlier, in fact only one, safely in that threshold. They've been doing so much chip damage. Unfortunately, nothing to be converted, but most certainly in a great position right now heading into this storm surge, and in an even better position when this zone starts to collapse and reach its logical fourth destination.
60 players left in the server. It's absolutely insane that we've, this amount of people, but it's going to be, the same for every single game. Nobody wants to go down early. Everyone wants to play passive. Everybody wants to, survive until the later stages. Of course, you'll have the best chance, placement points and all. You definitely will need some victories if you are going to take home this Razer Invitational, but we're going to go on to Fixie on the high ground. Just spamming on through to Bills. Gendaway is going to be knocked, and it is none other than Tricked Kaspersa who is going to get that knock. No full kill just yet, as now Fixie thought about spamming on through into that box, but decided against it. Now just having a look, seeing if they can catch anyone out of zone. Storm Surge will become active. Players are going to need to do a little bit of damage. Voxa is going to knock own Tectis, but Nipsey will get one back for his teammate, as he will knock him down, as Bad Sniper will take out Gendaway. In the meantime, we're going to see a shockwave here from Fixie, Zinni and Tricked Kaspersa. They thought about it, but then went back away. Now it is going to come in. Where are they going to land? They are split for the minute, I believe. Own Tactics is going to be finished off. Skull will be taken down as well. Rabbit going to be knocked, and he's going to be finished off by Andalix in a quick series of events. Still, we have not lost another trio since I've started talking, as the Storm Surge keeps on going. It is still very much active, and it is still very much hurting trios that are playing a little bit too passive. Nebs now having a look at players rifting in, see what he can find, seeing if he can hook someone out of the sky, seeing if he can harpoon them towards him, but he actually takes a little bit of fall damage there. A little bit of a oopsie from him. He gets away with it, however. He doesn't go down. Wave Janus going to be taken care of by none other than Savid. Miro picking up a kill in the meantime as well. 21 trios left, 50 players still left in the server.
So, that national pride in your voice when you say save it there. Absolutely wonderful. But for now, it's going to be absolute chaos in amongst this final few zones, especially with only a couple of seconds left before the zone closes on in, and we see where the zone will move to. For now, though, it's going to be a few more shots again from the high ground down onto those below. And tell you what, I do love it when teams go for those harpoon shots on the dropping players, simply because if you do hit it, it's pretty much a guaranteed kill. So why not? There isn't too much risk, and considering the reward, I do really, really like the commitment to it. For the time being, though, we are going to see another full push come on out again with that new zone miles away. We're going to have to see, again, just constant fighting between these teams as they try to shuffle closer and closer to their destination. Again, Asteria, he's just taking his little peek here and there. He's wary of these members, but he doesn't commit to the push just yet. Instead, he waits to see everyone else's first play as he continues to seek shelter in his little metal box.
Yeah, and it might just be that there's going to be a shockwave thrown. They're going to try and move on over to the closest side of the zone. Cisse, got to be careful, and the Storm Surge warning comes in once again. If you're in that area, you've got to be careful that you're above that threshold, because this is where HP is so crucial. You know, you have your time to basically take your fights and heal, but now you're at this stage, you've got to play for your placements, and you've got to do it successfully, otherwise it could be very, very costly. As for Cisse, he will just continue to move across. Him and his team have the high ground. As of this moment, he'll use a Chug Splash to get to 145 overall. Connecting the builds, of course, and that will help them out majorly. My question is, will we see a dramatic shockwave play like we did last game, or will it just be a fight for high ground through Riftfish? Or will it just be that there's nothing going to happen? You know, team's happy to take this low ground. By the looks of things as of right now, 45 players still in the server. Everyone seems quite content on where they are. Cisse looking to try and do some damage. Shots rattle on through. Missed opportunity. But of course, it's not all over just yet, as Chris, an early exit for him as he gets not tossed around and he's going to be chucked into a box. I'm not sure. I think that is his teammate that's going to be able to get the res. So a narrow opportunity missed out as Cisse down to 3. this could be costly, and especially with that low health, he has nowhere to go. He's going to try and bounce on through, and he's in the zone. Wow, did he just survive by the skin of his teeth. He's going to slowly heal up as well due to the water, a slurpy swamp, and so everything should be good for him for now. Just got to be cautious as BDS Blackie is now retaining that height. Very well played from him. He'll drop on down to try and get a little bit closer in on the action. But as for now, 26 players, 11 teams, 7th zone about to become 8. Things are getting mighty close now.
Yeah, things are really heating up. Another knock there for Save It. And I've seen Vitality Nico absolutely popping off in the kill feed as well. I believe he got 2 or 3 kills there, which is a quick 15 points for him. If you are quick at the mathematics like myself. As now we are going to see this little POV. And Dretta actually going down in the meantime. Your game 1 winners. I believe there are a few of his teammates still alive. Sejanik, now we are going to get his POV. Just going to tarp into the zone if he can. Shear's going to be knocked down, I believe, by high crits, if I'm not mistaken. That's now Sejanik having a look, charging up that charge shotgun, but it's not enough. Andix with that tac shotgun taking him down, but now this team on the high ground just raining down. Holy hell, Save It has been knocked as now Nebs will be taken down. Blackie just spamming into boxes, still has 100 AR bullets if he needs to, and now just spamming into these builds, seeing what they can find. There's 7 trios left. He is going to drop on down and get maybe a bit more up close and personal. Andrea is going to be finished off. Sejanik going to go down as well. Blackie now farming up this tree, farming up mats where he needed his 66 bills so he can keep going if he wants on the high ground. As a nice kill there from Ova Demon. He is going to get the kill. He is going to take another down. There's now 9 players left in the end zone. As we see, 3 trios remain. Andix is going to be taken down. Zinni is going to get killed. Blackie again still applying the pressure here. Demon getting down up close and personal, and Blackie is going to do exactly the same. He is going to get down and see what he can do. Going to try and take the roof if he can. Kaspera is going to be knocked. He is going to be dropped, and Blackie now getting down onto the low ground, having a look, seeing what he can find, see if he can get any of these low HP players as the pressure is going to be applied there. Blackie getting the kill there. I believe it was Zinni that's gone down, as now Demon spamming on through. Doesn't want to knock his teammates out of the build, but there's only 1 player left. It is Train Alpha. He is going to be taken care of, and it's going to be Blackie over Demon and their trio that are going to pick up the victory royale in game number 2. And Moten, I wonder how many kills they finished on. There was 3 there. I wonder how much the 3rd player in their trio had, but an insane game from them and a victory on the board nevertheless.
Tell you what, as well, in that end game, when we see only 3 kills left, they still won the game, and it shows the valuation they have with placement over kills. I know that for most of that game they actually had high ground, so they could have given their position away and just wreaked havoc on anyone fighting below, but instead they went for that placement and the gamble paid off. For the time being, though, we'll take a look at our intel moments, and well, we've got Sajnik again, course out in his box, shut down, of course, by Andex. It was a close engagement, but he doesn't come out on top, and this is where Over Demon again, he catches out that member at the corner of his eye and executes him. Again, really great read by him. Of course, this is Gaspara as well, caught off in his box. And again, Demon is just forcing players, he's just zoning them, essentially, forcing them out of the zone, making sure that he has got the best position possible for when he does drop on down. And we saw Alpha there, again, just finished with his teammates on the floor, ready to help on out. And again, only 6 kills for their team, but it does not matter, they got that placement.
Yeah, exactly. Points in the bag for them, and hopefully we'll be able to jump into the scoreboard very, very shortly. But for now, we're going to throw it to a quick commercial break, and when we're back, we'll bring you all the action in Game 3. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, 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 and welcome back to Game 3 of the Razer Invitational Europe. We've got the finals for this third tournament here. We've seen 2 incredible games so far, and the tempo appears to be slow start, few skirmishes, and then right at the end we see an absolute bloodbath as true and utter carnage in its purest form just wakes the entire map.
Yeah, welcome back everyone once again. Of course, game number 3 hitting that halfway mark. Very exciting to see how things go. We're looking at Stealthy Stronghold right now, where we see Sebs, Scoville, and Skovbo, excuse me, having a look right now on the scoreboard. Don't see them anywhere up there, you know. After that last game, it was Vitality, Nico, Blaster, and Alpha that moved up to the top spot with 182. Second place, Kaspersa, Fixie, and Pi were able to make their way through to second, and my prediction of Refsgaard's Graham and Endretta moved to third. But of course, Blackie, the winners of Game 2, have actually moved up to 6th place. And so, quite an interesting stance to be in. You know, still early doors, still an opportunity for everyone to get back into this game. But that proves that everyone can go anywhere on this scoreboard within a matter of a game or so. And so, it really is going to be quite intense up until the final wire, I would expect here.
And yeah, interestingly to note there, actually, Blackie, Fastrokey, you know, their trio actually went down first with 0 kills in the first game. They finished 32nd, and then, like, they've 0 points, no kills, no nothing. And then they come out and they win the second game. So anything can really happen. They're after skyrocketing themselves from dead last into 6th place. And, you know, they're only 80 points behind Vitality, Nikov, Blaster, and Alpha. So it should be pretty interesting to see, you know, can they continue on the good run of form from last game? Maybe the first game was just a little bit of a hiccup, but, you know, as I touched on before, and indeed we've all touched on, you know, the caliber of players that are in this final is absolutely ridiculous. So it's going to be very, very hard, as Sebs is quite the angler himself here. He has racked up quite an amount of fish there, which could come in handy in the long run, but he's going to run into a bit of trouble here. Sebs is going to be knocked. It is going to be Kiri that is going to take him down. The shakedown comes in as well. Where are your friends? Tell me now. He's going to be executed. Best player, Freddy, going to pick up that one. And we're probably going to see a bit more aggressive here. Seb's teammates are maybe in a little bit of trouble. They're going to advance on in. Kiri does have that 0-point fish as well. All the fish, indeed, that were actually taken out of the pond by their kill early on, and we're going to see a lot of pressure being put onto Scoville and Skovbo here now.
Tell you what, I've just seen in the scoreboard there's best player Freddy and best player Rabid. Question is, who is the best player? They're both coming to be the best player. One of them has to be. Which one is it? Well, for the most part at the moment, I believe best player Rabbit is topping the charts, but I don't know if he's got the kills. So for now, best player Freddy, he's going aggressive and he's going fast to try and make up for that. On the other side of the map, it goes towards the Dirty Ducks. We've got Rotary, who's got contact with another little team to watch out for. Let's see if he'll heed that warning, and we'll see if he goes aggressive or he gives them a bit more respect so he can focus on building. But for the time being, looks like he has spotted them out. Instead, he's going to box up instantly, and he's going to wait for them to walk into his crosshair. Being Michael, unfortunately, take a bit of early damage. Instead, he's able to pepper him a little bit before backing on away. That explosion is going to force him down onto the low ground, in of which he's just going to start building a few mads and making sure that he isn't completely distracted from his sole purpose and his sole intention to get mats and to get the hell out of Dodge.
Well, he's got to be careful, though, because he's already down to 12 points of health. He's only got 2 minis as well to hand, as it is going to be him trying to charge down one. Rotary finally falling, but it looks like Verox has actually fallen as well, as they're going to gun down Rotary, get the health, and continue on forward. Storming Right dropped as well, so for Rotary and his team, it might just be a quick exit, because Chaos One Light, very low HP as well. He is able to take down Demon, and he is going to try and hold off this player for a little bit longer so he can finish the job nicely. Going to continue to back on away, actually leaving, but unfortunately gets caught out. Very well played, and unfortunately a quick exit from them will push them heavily down that scoreboard. Looking at the map, though, on this left-hand side, this first zone forms, we could be looking at a Coral Castle finish here. I know me and Jack, while you were gone, Kremer, that we've had so many exits, like the final zone outside Coral Castle. It's been very interesting, you know, considering it's basically random at that point, you know, on where the circle ends. We've seen it so many times there, so maybe players getting quite used to the zone being up there. But As for the time being, on the complete other side of the storm, it is Gray and Joe going to try and continue to do some damage. Going to get the tag up. White damage done to Mexi, putting him down to around 90 points of health. But he's got to be careful of every angle because he's been beamed down to 36. He's got floppers to hand. He's got 6 minis. He can happily heal up, but he's got the pressure of everyone around him right now. The only man remaining, in fact, he's got Wan last, but he's gone down now. And so he is the only man now remaining to try and stay alive. It is going to be huge damage done. And did he even find that? I don't think he did in the end. He did, sorry. And it is going to be Michael that hits the rock bottom there. Destroyed by Gray and Joe. More importantly, that's given him great hope in this game because that's health in his pockets. And now he can heal up to 150. But let's jump to the north side of the Coral Castle where we see even more players battling it out for control at this island.
Yeah, Sejanik now just having a look around him, you know, on this island here towards Coral Castle, towards this beached area, if you will. And just having a look, he seems happy enough where he is. Wave Kiko is going to get a kill there onto Alphen as another player leaves us. But we're going to jump over to Skagan here, who's going to put a bit of pressure onto Kiri. He's actually going to hit a shot there. No shield on Kiri, but he manages to get the knock. Skagan is going to go down. Giljust World now the solo member of his trio, as Kiri will find another kill. He's 20 HP. He needs to try and pop off Mini if he can. He has no shotgun shells, so he has to use this AR to his advantage. He manages to get one knock, but Laurie will take him down. The heal will come in. Best player Freddy is gonna be resurrected. He is gonna be revived, should I say. And Laurie making some good use of that legendary shotgun.
For a moment, I thought Laurie was making Best Freddy, like he was holding him to ransom. Like, say I'm the best player ever or you won't get rezzed, that sort of thing. But for the most part, it's going to be a very westerly facing zone as that slowly creeps on in. We've got players over at Dirty Docks who need to move somewhere and bloody quick if they want to try and stay alive. But for the time being, Asteria and Co will make their way up through the river. Of course, you move faster in water than you do on land at the moment, so here's just taking their dear sweet time to try and catch up. Again, contact over towards the box, over towards the island again. Is still the last man left of his side, trying to get out of that box, trying to heal up in time. But of course, contact comes from above. Death rains from above. He's using his floppers as quick as possible. Unfortunately, these players are all around and he's swarmed and eliminated. For the time being, we've got Jaggy and Co caught out in this box as well, trying to do even more damage as someone, I believe that's Chili's up and looks to just charge in, looking for some damage. Unfortunately, unable to find some at the moment, as instead they take a moment and they have a bit of a lull, quiet before the storm, so to say, as they get into their little box, they equip themselves, and they get ready for the next stage of this fight.
Absolutely. Look at the amount of people outside Sweaty Sands. There's definitely some competition around as they are firmly secured within the zone. They've just got to be cautious of basically everyone else within the area. Jaggy, I mean, as of right now, he's got a fair bit of loot to him. 15 bandages and a med kit alongside the weaponry and the harpoon that he's got. He's looking quite all right, but of course, early stages, early doors. 74 players. I think this is the quickest that the lobby's depleted as of today. I mean, I'm looking around right now, and a lot of people not exactly in a alive state, I'd argue, considering the pattern was sim for the first two games. So maybe the whole idea of having storm surges throughout the entirety of the game is going to get cut short in this one. We'll have to wait and see, as Tohaj and his trio will be looking to aggress on through towards Hunter's Haven, safely within the zone, or rather actually in the zone, but they've got to be cautious of the players above him. It's Yukande that is going to take a bit of damage and now is going to shockwave on out. Tohaj going to try and take a close engagement, does have the attack shotgun to him if he wishes to use it, but instead he'll try and take the height and instead play it passive. He wants to stay alive and help his teammates out. He's actually got a lot of meds to him as well. You know, he's got the mini and the flopper, and he's got a fair bit of loot to his name as well. So this really is an opportunity for Tohaj possibly to count his losses and disengage, but at the same time, would you want to leave your teammates? Most certainly not when they're destroying competition like that. As Yassine to fall, and unfortunately Yassine currently not doing great, and most certainly with that, won't put them in a great position either.
We see now, you know, this team are out in the storm. Like, they have to heal up. They need to be careful. They need to get into the zone. They don't want to take any more fights in there. We see Crisinho, he's going to go down, and 68 players left in the server now, as we're going to see Dervig get into a car, and Solary Demon XX is going to go down as well. I believe that was to the storm I'm not too sure, but I'm pretty sure that it was. We're actually going to see a player rezzed in the meantime as well. We're back up to 70 players, as now we see Grizzy, Bad Sniper, High Crits, and Natesify, who are just having a look to see what they can find. One last is going to be knocked in the storm, as now Bad Sniper having a look, doing a lot of damage. That car has just exploded. The truck goes pop, and Kiji is in an awful position. Brown are actually going to be knocked here. Save it is going to have to maybe go for a res here. Dennis applying a little bit of pressure from his brick box, and the res, I believe, is going to come in. Hand Rabbit just holding the wall there, and things are beginning to, you know, get a little bit hairy now towards the north side of the map. And oh my, look at this. Sweaty Sands is going to get a little bit sweaty for everyone here, because there are so many people around this area. We're definitely going to see a lot of engagements here, and I think it is going to speed up in a matter of moments.
Well, you know what we say about sweat, high salt concentration, so I do expect to see a lot of gunfights very soon. I also expect to see a lot of third-partying as these teams all engage one another, and each one looks to clean up another's fights just to pick up those kills and to hopefully accelerate their chance of getting a decent placement. But for the time being, it looks like he's trying to just toss up that building. He's trying to fake players out into which box he's actually in while he farms mats in the building down below. And now we see so many teams stacked up. Looks like it's going to be three of actually, but what? I completely know what I was going to say. It looks like about 7 or 8 teams actually stacked up, ready to end up with this engagement towards Sweaty Sands, as those in the water desperately try to escape. They drop a few mats and a few walls as they go, just to give themselves a bit of cover. Elsewhere, that we're going to see Pickers as well. He's got that pistol, he's got that sniper, that purple sniper out that actually, so really looking to output the damage here. Question is, can he find someone to, well, attack? Again, just have to wait for the time being. Once again, no one wants to move on one another. No one wants to be third-partied, so we do have to wait while we end up with a little bit of a lull before the contact erupts.
Yeah, absolutely. 2/3 of the lobby still remaining. 25 teams as well. So Sweaty Sands, as you mentioned, is about to become more than just sweaty. I think it's going to be dripping after this with the amount of players looking to try and pick up a couple of kills. And of course, that will matter. At the end of the day, placements don't do it enough, especially on the final day. But if you can play for that victory royale, then all means do it. So it's finding that balance that these players will be looking for. They're looking for an opportunity to go in. As we see, when there's a game 1 there, they did actually lose a player in the early stages as Vato let it down. Kinstar's teammate taking a fair bit of damage, actually knocked in the process, and so they'll pick him up, give him some meds, set him back on his way. I know Vato has 2 minis in a large pot simply waiting for him, and that's not even excluding the amount that Kinstar has at his feet as well. And there you go, 2 minis drop, might even have a large on him, so not requiring the drop across. And now it's simply about making movement to the new zone. You know, teams don't exactly want to take these large engagements. They simply want to just post up, wait, and allow for themselves to get into the new zone and find something there. They don't particularly want this as their prime time to take an engagement, because, you know, as this game continues, that storm will soon tick for more and more. As we have a look right now, Browner and his team making their way around just on the outskirts right now, grabbing themselves up some materials saved by his side. And they're just looking to continue moving on forward towards this new zone. Everyone sort of making a mutual agreement. Nothing too much happening in the bullet department. It's more about using your feet and getting towards that new zone that everyone's most concerned about heading into this third zone.
Yeah, Browner, Saved, and Rabbit, you know, using this water to their advantage, you know, making quick rotates, nobody really looking towards them either, so this will be fairly free. We see Tohaj actually going down, and indeed, High Crits is going to be finished there by Mexi Karachi getting the knock on Tohaj. So things, you know, getting a little bit interesting now, as we've got 63 players left in the server. The confirmed kill Sharps is going to finish off Tohaj now. 10 trios have already been eliminated, and we are going to lose a few more before this zone reaches its destination. Rabbit, Save It, and Browner now happy enough where they are. They are boxed up, having a look around through that metal, through their boxes, just seeing if they can spot anyone out, see if they can catch anyone off guard, catch them sleeping, catch them lacking. But everybody seems to be, you know, very happy. Everyone is seems to be very content with nobody is asleep. Everyone is very much awake. They are very alert of all their surroundings. As we have a quick look at the map, it's very, very heavily contested towards Sweaty Sands, and that could be very, very dangerous for all teams in there. But also a great chance for these teams to rack up some kills and rack up some points and, you know, propel themselves further on the leaderboard.
Absolutely. This northeastern side of the map is going to erupt the second we see this forced zone. And for the most part, due to that early contact, due to the early skirmishes we saw around the map, we won't see another surge. And so it does give these teams a chance to be a bit more passive. It gives them a bit of a chance to sit back, get some mats, and look to play for placements instead. Well, for the most part, once that zone connects, let's see where this fourth place is. As yet again, we find ourselves in a bit of a lull, or as some would say, the quiet before the storm.
Yeah, I mean, right now, it's everyone's priority to stay alive. They really, really want to stay alive, keep this pressure up, but at the same time, they want to find themselves in a position where they're going to start earning points for placements. And of course, in this time, in this scenario, I'm very interested to see how teams will react to this, respond and deliver. Because as of right now, teams, well, they're not really too concerned about getting the 5 points per kill. They're more interested in the fact that they're hiding, playing patient, waiting, and simply trying to avoid the inevitable. Obviously waiting for the later zones to take these fights rather than pressing for them now, I would argue, which is the smarter decision to make, especially if you're on the top end of that scoreboard. You know, you just got to keep your placement for the time being. You don't have to go for these risky plays that the players lower down have to go for. You simply sit for placement and you'll be all right. Admittedly, it's not exactly the winning tactic, but it most certainly will help you climb your way up those rankings. So for most teams, they're simply going to try and tuck away and hide, but for others, they're looking for their way in. As Seagate fires off a shot, the blue bolts action sniper narrowly missing once again, going to try and fire off one more shot, and again missing. He's going to switch over to the light assault rifle. Does get a tag, but nothing too substantial. Minus 18 overall. It was in the blue damage range, which means it was only shield taken. And now with 59 players remaining, the fourth zone will continue to move on in. What is everyone's next move here, Jack?
I mean, everybody just wants to get in. We are going to see the Storm Surge warning come in there. A little bit of damage coming out there. I believe Gambit 2's picked up a few nice kills as well. Asteria Bright is being put under a little bit of pressure as he now takes out his glider, and he's going to be punished here. He's down to 11 HP, just going to hide in the bush. He manages just to get a build up before he takes one more bullet. One more bullet would have done it. One more bullet would have taken him down, as now we see Wanlas is going to get a kill there onto Onyx Wings. Coach Cisse, we're going to see his POV, who I believe is in the zone. He is boxed up in a nice little position, and Sheer now seems happy as well. This team above the damage threshold for that Storm Surge warning, as Pastrokey is going to be knocked on in. Sheer now applying a little bit of pressure onto the team below if he can. 20 trios still remain for the moment, but that could change right now. Vicarious Blaze being put under a little bit of pressure to it. Actually going to take a lot of damage. Shear's going to be shot in the back, and he's going to be knocked. He's going to be taken down to it. Manages just to get healed up. Actually, no, he is going to be taken down. Sejanik is going to be the last player alive in this trio, and oh my, you are being so heavily focused. What can you do here? He's being pushed from all angles. He's being spammed out. He is taking so much damage. He's 19 HP. He's out into the storm. He is gone. He is dead. He is out of it. See you in the next game. Back to the lobby with you. Oh my. What can you do there? Like, you're being pressured so hard there, Peter. I mean, you try and build, you try and back away from that engagement, and you just get pressured so heavily. Like, what can you do there?
Well, in my case, it would be sit in a corner, curl up into the fetal position, and cry. However, looks like we might have a bit of a different approach here, which is just to try and get these shotguns at point blank in attempts to output enough damage to at least hinder your opponent before you eventually are taken down. Again, we've got players falling left, right, and center at the moment. Again, it's going to be an early drop into the sky as these players come down. Once again, we'll see how fares. He's trying to shoot up at them. He's trying to do damage. Unfortunately, he's unable to kill any of them so far. There's no knock to follow, and at least this damage he does will help him when the next surge comes along as well. And because he does have the high ground, it won't be too much of a hindrance. Again, that shotgun for anyone who comes just a little bit too close, for anyone who strays too close towards them. Again, these players absolutely on the lookout. And for the time being, we're going to have to see how they fare with this zone closing in yet again. Only 25 seconds before we see that sixth zone. And again, it's going to be very, very hard for them to stay alive and to maintain this high ground advantage.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the minimap right now, you can see everyone converging towards that top left and right of the ring. Basically, that top half of the ring of the zone is where everyone's at right now. No one really going to try and converge toward the south side. They're waiting for the next zone, waiting for the next movement. And had they have done that, will they be able to find themselves close to the new zone? Yes, they will. And now, there you go. Team's automatically going to try and make that move. And the first move to be made is Verox, the UK player, as far as I remember. A very decent player at that. And him and his trio are going to make their move across. And you can see as the camera pans across, a whole lot of bodies on the other side. But as for this solo team, sort of like this solo trio, I guess, from Verox and his other teammates, they're just simply patiently waiting, not giving it everything. They're just simply waiting for this new zone to form. They've got prime position to rotate on forward, and you can see that with this sort of advantage over everyone, they're going to apply as much pressure as they can. As now, Michael trying to gun down more, trying to do more damage, and it's Fixie. And is going to take a fair bit of damage from it. It is actually tech tips that falls as well. Michael actually managing to pick up the kill, or rather the knock, and his teammate finding that conversion. Well played to him, and now they can look to get towards this new zone. As well as that, the Storm Surge will be active very, very shortly, and that's where we could see absolute catastrophe occur for some of these teams.
Yeah, 13 trios left in the server for the minute. Michael just trying to charge up that charge shotgun, hit somebody that is flying in, as now we do have a look, and oh my, look how hectic this is towards the middle ground. Everybody is stacked down there. Demon Rabbit is going to get a knock. Sharps is going to be taken out by Fixie. Verox on the high ground with his trio. Not contested yet for the moment. They haven't really done much damage though. They are just happy enough just to heal up. Save it, picking up another kill as the 6th zone will finish. We're going to hear a rift being popped. I believe it was actually only fake there. I'm not too sure. Andrea is going to be taken down, of course, our game 1 winner. And now the rift will be popped, and Michael is going to try and focus a few of these people coming in. A few of them going to fly in and see if he can do some damage. The tracking is going to need to be put to good use here as he's spamming on in. Won't be able to get a huge shot there by Michael with the charged shotgun. He won't get a knock though. Vitality Airwalks will take down Dracarys Blaze, I believe, in the meantime as well. As now focus returns to the build. Everybody is out of the sky. Everybody is down on the low ground, and Michael, Nexa, and Verox are in a pole position to do a world of damage, a whole lot of damage down onto these players. And this is not where you want to be. You are being focused down on the low ground. You're running out of mats. Look at all the knocks there on the left side of your screen from Michael, doing so much damage. As now Demon Rabbit getting up close and personal on your right as he gets down and low. He needs to heal up. He is low HP for the minute. Browner is going to be knocked out of the air. He got shockwaved up from Michael. Great tracking to take him down. Absolutely insane. As now Falix is going to be spammed on through as well. Nifty in the meantime is being punished as well for being in that position. Now Michael is going to be built up on. He's in a little bit of trouble. Demon Rabbit managing to pick up a kill. The Siphon coming on in, but will it be enough? Is because he is being hard focused. He is going to be taken out, and he is going to be eliminated. 6 trios remain. 14 players still left in the server.
Tell you what, this last 5 minutes or so has just been the Michael show. He's been tearing apart anyone who even dares move in his general direction. Again, continuing to rain down all forms of havoc onto anyone who comes his way. Again, continuing to just am into these boxes, and why not? Again, once you get down that roof, you might hit someone, you might not. It doesn't matter. He's got all the ammo he could ever wish for. He's continuing to try and, I guess, trace that VP player. I think he spotted them in amongst the build now, as unfortunately Navi and Co try to get up high. They try to get the high ground, but Michael's ready for it. He tags up his teammate, he pushes forward, trying to take down Toos as well. He's actually been delegated down to what will be the mid ground, slowly falling down further. But once again, we'll have to see what the response is, and for his teammates to stay alive as well. Bear in mind, they're already on 14 kills. Anything more is just going to be incredible. Verox and Co have done absolutely phenomenally so far. And of course, this team representing Team GB, I think all of them are English, actually. So, again, representing Team GB as they continue wreaking havoc on everyone. Michael ready to drop down again. And from the looks of it, he is just tracing down this zone. He's looking to play for the final. He's looking to go for the win here. 3 teams left, 5 players left remaining. And for the most part, it looks like Michael, Verox, and Co are going to be in a beautiful position to take this.
Yeah, it might just be the beginning of the end now. 4 players, 2 teams remaining. And there you have it. And Alex can't make it work. And with that, it is Verox that find themselves the victory royale. Mexi and Michael all doing their bit, and what a victory for them. 15 kills and a victory royale. Unbelievable amount of points in the bag. And we were talking about in the pre-game, we kept talking about how crucial each of these games can be. One good game can set you all the way up there, and we'll see on the scoreboard in just a second how important that game was to them in bumping them up. Before they even started, we were looking at a 22nd place for them. So my word, is that going to push them further and further up. But I think it's time we talk about the Intel moments, and I mean, what a game this was.
Yeah, here we see Gilgis World. He was the last alive. His two teammates actually got knocked fairly quick, and then he got punished here. He tried to heal up, but it was too late. He actually ran out of shotgun bullets. Managed to get one knock, but it was Laurie just helping out his teammate. He got the res off there as well. And poor Bright here, he was just landing in, just trying to get into the zone if he could, but he was getting so hard focused. Managed to get a build off, but I believe he went down shortly after that. And Sheer finished off on the ground to it then as well. And again, we've seen this, and this is just absolutely disastrous. Look how badly Sejunik was being focused here. There's not a lot really you can do. He was being shot from all sorts of angles, and he just got taken out. Not a lot you can do, you know. It's just one of those things. When one team starts putting pressure on another, everybody seems to join in on the server. And here was Michael, the winners of game number 3. An insane shot there with that charged shotgun, but he was just raining holy hell from above here. Nice shots onto Browner, getting the knock there as well, just applying so much pressure, picking up vitality, airwalks as well, getting the kill, picking up the mats where he needed to. And I believe they stayed on height for the majority of the game, where they needed to drop down then towards the very end. Indeed, here it is. 5 players were left. They just dropped down, realizing, you know, get down, get involved onto the low ground. Andalix was going to be the last player alive. Karachi got taken down, and Andalix fell soon after. A good victory all in all, and that is going to absolutely skyrocket them up in the leaderboards.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I tell you what, again, it's been this end of Zone 6, start of Zone 7 phase, where everyone suddenly decides to start fighting one another. Usually, I think the term is to, to disturb the hornet's nest. Well, in Michael's case, it looked like he took 3 steps back and kicked it with all his force, as we just saw an eruption of players falling second we hit that marker. We take a look at the scoreboard now. Again, Verox and Co, Verox, Michael, and Mexa winning that game, and with the kills, that propels them from what I think was about 17th or so straight up to 3rd. A great game. That's all it took to bring them ahead. So, absolutely, that game has been pivotal to their success, and it puts them in contention. Really look for a win here. Granted, Caspera and so they're really built a lead, 60 points ahead of that second place position, but they are not out the woods yet. We do still have 2 games left, both of which are going to be just as exciting as this previous 3. We're going to go to a quick little break, but when we get back, be prepared for all the more action. Hello, 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 and welcome back to the fourth game of the Razer Invitational Showdown. Of course, this has been the finals so far, and my God, we've seen some exciting games, and, well, I expect we'll see a lot more ahead. Again, we have seen kill after kill after kill. We've seen utter chaos erupts towards these final zones, and as of right now, we've seen fairly little in terms of early game skirmishes. The tempo and the antic did up in that last game. We'll have to see if they maintain that or if we'll see it drop back down to a more passive approach to this early game.
Absolutely. Looking at the map distribution, a lot of people heading towards that top left, or rather top right-hand side of the map. Obviously, a couple of people landing in top left. By the looks of things, Sweaty Sands is fairly fine. And all in all, I'm looking very, very interested into the into how this game plays out. Of course, we had a look at the scoreboard earlier on, and just to highlight again how close things are, you know, as we are talking about a 60-point, or rather an 80-point lead over first to second, and then from there things are very, very close. I'm looking, you know, from 5th to 2nd is a matter of 20 points. It is unbelievable how close this scoreboard is, and so it really is all to play for, and I think that's the importance of what everyone now knows on the server. It really is a fight for glory, and what a way to do it in the finals. You know, 6,600 euros total being given out, plus the 500 euros to the MVP. And so if you're having a great day and you're landing in top 3, you know, you have that opportunity to really rake in the cash, and more importantly, the crown as well is the most important part. We're jumping into the action at Salty Towers. Hi Chris, Bad Sniper, and Nate Sophie are simply sitting and waiting, farming their materials, patiently concerned about basically everyone else in this area. They want to make sure that everyone is known of their location. At the same time, they want to know that everyone is around them. And so with this quick engagement, by the looks of things, things are going to get quite heated up. Hi Chris charging up the charged shotgun, the blue variant at that, and he's waiting to pull something, but it's Fire Hunter that opens things up. In fact, I'm not sure if he's got the kill in the end, but he's going to be dropped from above. Hi Chris, that slam dunks down onto Jam's hood, and now things are getting mighty tense towards Salty Towers. Bad Sniper eliminated, but Hi Chris doing great job so far. Great work and great movement. The man's a machine. He's on fire. He's got a great mind, and it's helped them majorly as they've lost one player, but Reboot card can be picked up. They can simply go and use it, and what a start to them. 15 points in the bag, and a great landmark to grab all the loot for.
And I mean, you have to really feel for Fire Hunter and Onyx Wings and Jam's Hood. Like, it's just not been their day at all. Game 4, they're eliminated already again. You know, they were, I believe they finished 30th place in the first game, 32nd in the second. Managed to improve a little bit, coming 21st in the third, but you know, it's just not their day at all, and you really have to feel for them because they are just getting pushed. They are just getting outplayed. As we see, Alpha is gonna get the kill there onto Frey. It was actually Nikov that finished him off, or sorry, it was Blastor actually that dropped Flawless. Nikov is now going to be revived, and they do now have Craggy Cliffs to themselves. 4 trios are already gone, and you know, we've seen some big names already been taken out early on, and I wonder now, are there players going to be towards the top that are going to be eliminated? Demon is going to be put under a little bit of pressure. Pharrell, Holy, and Bright are now putting him under a little bit of pressure, and his teammates are absolutely nowhere near him. He's no shield at all, and Pharrell does have that green tack shotgun that he can put him under a little bit of pressure if he wants. He's now creeping around behind him, but he's going to drop down where he can. He's going to maybe just try and build out. He has got away for the moment, and he has evaded them for a little bit, but not for long, because Pharrell, Holy, and Bright are on the case. They are pushing him fast, running through these cell doors in Colossal Coliseum. Wonder, is Pharrell going to cut him off? He puts a cone down to stop him in his tracks. He is now trapped in a box, charging up the charged shotgun. He is going to be knocked. Managed to hit the charged shot onto Pharrell, but it was not enough. Demon is going to be shaken down, and he is definitely going to be executed. It comes on in. 81 players left in the server.
Once again, Fastook, he's been spotted, and Holy, he's taking a moment before pushing up. He's waiting for his teammate, and that is a really, really coordinated assault. Again, they're trying to spam it down that wall before his teammate can cross. Unfortunately, he's very, very sneaky with that placement of the buildings, and with that, he's going to be able to get out. He's going to be able to get into his own little box. However, Holy going to end up joining this flank. He'll end up eating a shotgun blast to his face. Actually, if he's not careful, he might be a player who falls instead. And Fastook is actually running circles around this team right now. However, all good things must come to an end, and he is going to run out of mats very, very soon. And I think Asteria knows this, so he'll continue pushing on up. These shotguns ringing out. One of them rings true onto him, but he doesn't do a substantial amount of damage. Instead, it only does enough to tickle and humor his chasers. For the time being, let's see how and if he's able to escape, but I doubt he's going to have much time left, especially with Brythe ready to lead that charge.
EQ right now just outside Hunter's Haven, gonna hear shots, and now he wants to get a piece on the action. He's gonna spy out Yassine and take huge amounts of damage for it. He needs to get out quickly because he's dropped health. He's gonna use a little bit of healing, or at least attempt to try and stop the enemy, push him on forward. But unfortunately for him, he's gonna get gunned down from every single angle. He is no more. Beautiful aggression from Alphen right there, and he's gonna take down Kiku with no problems at all. Chris actually falling to Jaggy, and with that at Salty Towers, I think Chris's team have taken a fairly early exit here, and that could be the most costly factor. I do believe that that is them gone from this game, and as a pole performer, as a pole star for this, I would argue that that is quite a concerning factor for them. But you know, where there's winners, there's losers, and that's the game that they have to play. Now it's all about trying to extend their lead to try and get themselves further and further up that scoreboard, minimize the lead to first place, or even extend their current lead of first place, depending on where you're positioned. You know, it's still game 4, it's still all to play for, but everyone right now on the server, I think everyone feeling that little bit more anxious as we have a look lovingly out into the sea, the ocean. Oh, I wish I was here right now. There's nothing going on. The calm before the storm. As we look to continue on forward, 75 players, 25 teams. Things are going to spice up fairly soon, I would imagine.
And yeah, things are going to heat up. Of course, this is game number 4 of 5 of this final day of the Razer Invitational. Of course, if you guys want to get involved in next week's tournament, definitely go ahead and sign up over on razerinvitational.com. There will be these tournaments ran throughout January, every Thursday to Saturday. And you know, if you want to get involved, there is, of course, €6,600 worth of prize pool, should I say, and also some Razer peripherals up for grabs. But also, if you guys just watching at home, if you've been in the stream for more than an hour, make sure to go ahead and type !ticket in the chat, and you will be entered into a giveaway where we are giving away a Razer Viper mouse at the end of today. And also, the top 3 teams after this tournament will finish. If you want to go ahead and type !vote, we will be joining the Discord. You guys can go ahead and vote for your MVP of today, and the player that gets the most votes will receive an extra €500. So if you want to help out one of your favorite players, go ahead and do so. But now we're going to see Gil just scored. He's going to snipe onto that car, do a little bit of damage. Vitality, Nikov, and his trio just really want to get out of there. They don't want to take that fight at all. We're going to see Gil Just World pick up one of these crystals. He is going to continue to move into the zone. Of course, those crystals absolutely fantastic for rotation and, you know, getting into the circle without taking too much damage.
I think Mash just almost went flying there by Sharps in his positioning of that car, and as he rolls downhill, he will be able to recover in time as they head deeper into that circle, looking to get into a better position. Understandably so. Lazy Lake is a POI that is uncontested and in the follow-up zone, so really great areas to fortify, to lock themselves in and await the coming players. As for now, they do stack up. They well, for the most part, there aren't many players left actually outside the ring, as everyone is able to converge towards the outskirts, able to have a few skirmishes here and there, but again, they don't want to commit to a fight in true fear of being third-partied. Once again, we'll have to see how it fares for them. As you mentioned before, we literally do have this mass lull while we wait for the follow-up zones.
Yeah, you mentioned sort of that line of between the 6th and 7th zone where everyone realizes that there's going to have to be some carnage, some action from everyone basically to ensure that, that there's going to be a winner, because, you know, I don't think we've actually come down to a heal-off today. I think we've had a scenario in which people have tried to out-heal the Storm, but I don't think the Storm's fully closed and people playing for the hills. We saw yesterday, you know, someone pick up 8 floppers and have an absolute whale of a time just simply healing outside the zone, and obviously there's no way you lose a game with 8 floppers, so it was an interesting scenario to be in, but an unfamiliar one today, because right now it's just been an onslaught from, you know, from day one basically. Game 1 for us, it was an absolute domination. Ref's Guard and his team picking up 10 kills. The next game we saw our victors of game 2, which I do believe were Blackie, Fastrokey, and Ovadirics, and they got a 6-kill victory royale, and of course our most recent winners, Verox, Michael, and Mexi, picking up a 15-kill victory royale, 145 points to their name. So everyone realizing how important these victories can be, titled up with those amounts of kills that players are getting across the board. It really is a great opportunity, and people need to start pulling the trigger on this sort of play now, because it might just be too little too late for some of these teams. If you're on the lower end of the table, you need an absolute monstrous next 2 games. I'll be looking at a double victory royale for you to basically even be able to secure yourself an opportunity in even landing top 3, as we see our first Storm Surge warning of the day, excuse me. And by the looks of things, everyone looking quite comfortable with it. You know, this 3rd zone moving on in, and everyone seems to be a little more relaxed in this game, but I sure as hell know that if this was me, I'd be absolutely bricking it, because it really is crunch time for everyone on the server right now.
And I mean, yeah, of course, all these players, you know, they're well used to competition, but I don't know about the tough competition here, because, you know, the caliber of player, we spoke about it throughout the day. You know, it's been absolutely ridiculous, you know, the amount of decent players, or not even just decent players, the amount of great players that we've seen, and the amount of great plays that we have seen throughout all these tournaments. You know, it's going to be very hard to place in the top 5. Of course, that is the prize pool. Top 5 teams will receive either a cash prize or indeed some Razer peripherals. But, you know, job well done to the people that have actually made it to the final day, because, you know, we had, I believe, over 2,500 entries this week. So, you know, if you're making it into the top 33, you're doing something right. As now we move on over to see Gambit 2. They are his trio, should I say. They are 185 damage above the threshold, so they don't need to put anyone under any pressure just yet. They are in the zone as well. Scambatus might just look for a snipe here onto the players down below, Voxit and his trio, but he won't find anything just yet. Needs to be careful. I believe it is Skydun that is just getting above him on the high ground. We're going to see Pharrell being knocked to is going to get the knock on him and is going to get the finish as well. Fantastic Baron is going to be knocked in the meantime too. But Gambit's thinking about pushing on 2 now, just going to put a roof above himself and now build on over to his teammate. They are happy enough to just box up for the moment, and Storm Surge is going to become active. Voxer actually does have an RPG, which could be absolutely disastrous. You do not want to be on the low ground when somebody above you has an RPG. We're going to move on into Onyx Kane, I believe, who is going to try and put a bit of pressure onto Alphan and his trio, but it looks like they're going to back away, just deciding against that. They are only 55 above the damage threshold, so they need to be careful. They need to take an engagement if they go below, and could see big problems for this trio ahead.
Without a doubt. Again, these teams, they are just... The whole map is taking a big collective deep breath before the plunge, and that plunge, of course, is going to be everyone delving towards the bowels of this map, towards this 3rd and then 4th zone, as for the most part they at least have enough range between everyone now, at least the time being, to survive. Yeah, we see the odd knock here and there as Andressa goes down, but again, there's nothing too substantial. Skydun, he falls. Voxer, he's knocked yet again, but it is, again, skirmishes compared to what'll be the true and utter unfiltered destruction that'll happen in just a couple of minutes. Again, 70 players left alive, 25 teams in contention, and we are going to have to wait to see just who's going to come out on top. This is still anyone's game, and for the time being, it will come down to placement with a couple of kills. That could be what separates you from a couple of €100 and nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, players are playing for unbelievable amounts, and Dretta actually just wiped out a whole squad there. We can see in the kill feed, believably. Very well done from him, and, you know, that's definitely going to put them on the right foot. A very quiet game 2 and 3 from them as Kane, well, he's going to double dink someone from afar. Misty Meadows most certainly isn't going to be Misty in terms of bullets right now, because everyone looking towards this new zone, and for Kane, he's got to be careful of the people behind him. You know, all of these people rotating in from the western side have got to be careful, because they sure as hell are going to get flanked if they're not too cautious enough. And looking right now at the map, it seems to be everyone is quite evenly distributed. You know, we've seen a pattern of basically where everyone's sort of in that same area, the location of sort of everyone within the same sort of quarter. But for this, I think that there's a lot of people all around the area as we see some chug splashes being used onto Gambit 2's hit, as he'll continue his push on through towards this new zone. Got to be careful of the people from above, and the RPG most certainly will help with their push to destroy those builds and allow them some aggression through, as he'll push on forward towards 7 Saw as well. And that'll allow them into the new zone. Perfectly done as well. A very orchestrated rotate towards this new zone. And there's still 64 players still in this zone as the third one, hits. The fourth one will be in motion in around 1 minute and 10 seconds now. And so this is where teams are looking to get that little bit closer together. The claustrophobia will start kicking in, because everyone looking to basically survive the storm and make their way on forward to find themselves some placement points.
We're going to move on over to the POV of Kinzel, who is putting a little bit of damage onto Owen Tech Tips and Nipsey and hit their trio. Nothing going to be found just yet. Save it actually going to be knocked. It's going to be Andlex, who is going to drop him. And they falling down as well. Not out just yet, but might be finished off in the meantime. Browner, another one taken down. Kanda is going to be finished off. We're going to see Gambit 2's. They needed to get out from below that mountain, and they are going to use a Riftfish, and they're going to just build up on top of this team. They are going to just take height above these guys and maybe build out, and Gambit 2's might be thinking about using that RPG, putting it to good use to maybe hit one of the builds below, put them under a little bit of pressure. I believe it is Vitality Nikov and his trio that are down below. So, you know, if Gambit 2 wants, he can cause a little bit of mayhem here. He can put a little bit of pressure, and I said before, you know, you definitely do not want to be underneath an RPG, because they would just rain down rockets. He only has 4 available, but 4 will do just enough, as we see a storm surge warning come in. There are 60 players still left alive in the server. 21 trios remain in game number 4 of the Razer Invitational Europe.
Again, all these players, they start stacking up together. We're all starting to just push into this zone, and we're looking at that northwestern side of it, and it is just, you cannot move from box to box without bumping into another team, another player. Kinzo is able to knock it down, duck on top early on, but that's going to be it for now. It actually instantly finished as well, so I feel that their player may have overextended just a little bit. He was the last man left for his team as well, as it goes down 21 teams, definitely 9 players left standing. And again, to use an overused phrase, it is that period of unnatural calm before the chaos, because we don't want to say the calm before the storm, so we're going to use a different synonym every time. But for the most part, during its time, it is going to be players, again, just stacking up together. They don't want to commit to a fight, because they will get third-partied, but that zone is frankly disgusting. There are going to be so many players who have to move across the entire area just to get within spitting distance of that zone. And on top of a storm surge, this is going to be a really, really difficult scenario for pretty much every single team, bar the 3 that are already in there.
Yeah, absolutely. As you said, the silence before the storm is that things are getting quite interesting as this zone does converge towards the south side of Catty Corner, and it looks to be our winners of Game 3 looking to try and escape from this top side to move on down, as Dennis finds himself a quick kill. A very silent player. I don't think we've seen all too much of this man so far alongside Sammy and QE, but they are going to try and make their mark in game number 4. They are going to spot out Michael, Verox, and Mexi, the people to their left. They are going to try and gang up, maybe, possibly. It's up to them if they want to try and take these engagements. They simply want to try and move towards this new zone, though. And with them being on their left, that's most certainly going to be a problem now. As, oh, the white damage done. That's going to cause problems. And in fact, he found the knock. Stormy right QT is dropped. And they are going to try and go for the res. But Michael applying everlasting punishment of damage down. And now, this is the Hellfire breaking out as everyone looking to try and do damage to builds. The war of attrition continues, as you mentioned, Peter, so many times. This sort of battle where everyone is simply trying to wear down materials, meds, everything. And here you go, Michael, perfect example. Has to rotate around using huge amounts of materials in the process. Actually getting caught out by a shotgun shot. And now the Storm's going to try and take him down as well, as he does have some bandages and some minis to hand. But the weaponry, I mean, it's looking good, but the ammo isn't looking too great as he'll make a connection. Attack shotgun doing damage, but he's got to be careful from above as he's going to continue to move on forward. 45 players, 17 teams. The count is still going down. Everything is still popping off within the server. Players going down left, right, and center. The kill feed is filled, and the action will not stop.
And I mean, these teams that are now below, they're going to have to try and scale up a mountain. Michael has absolutely no rotation really at all. And, you know, he could be punished here. We're going to see now Milo and Cisse. They have lost Nebs. They already have 5 kills, but they have to make their way up the mountain as well. I wonder, do they have much rotation? I wonder, does Cisse have any shocks maybe to go for a super bounce here? Vitality Air Wax on the high ground. Now just having a look as people begin to rift, seeing if he can hit any shots to track, and not quite there. We're hoping he can hit some shots in the meantime. Nobody going to challenge for height at all. Everybody happy enough to go down. We're going to see Endretta be knocked in the meantime. Vitality Air Wax is going to be actually shockwaved out of height, I believe. But he's going to build back up and, you know, get back on up there with his teammates. Verox going to be taken down. Michael has actually gone down as well. A nice knock there from Airwax, managing to find a kill onto Grey Angel. They are above the damage threshold as, you know, the Storm Surge comes into fruition. Leptos has been taken care of. He has been finished off, I believe, as well. And interestingly enough, Airwax and his trio, you know, Kinsar, they've been a bit quiet. We haven't really seen too much of them in the end games, and they've only now picked up their first kill of this game. Coach Cisse is going to be down. He is going to be taken out as Gambit 2 is going to use that bouncer to move on into the zone. And this mountain, you know, this mountain zone is absolute chaos here. We're going to see Vitality Airwalks get down. Going to try and go for a charged shotgun if he can. He's going to build, catch himself, and hopefully be on some height if he can. He actually is going to get the kill onto Kirib. He has lost Fate, although Trick Caspera taking so much damage as well. Navi Seventor has been taken down in the meantime as well. It's Godsend Wake with that kill. As now Airwax has a look down below. Can't really get much done. But I wonder, could this be finally the victory royale for the Frenchman?
Again, this has been an insane performance from him there, actually, to jump up in mid-air, take down someone, then continue this high ground advantage. Let's see if he can pluck the lives from these members just a little bit further as the zone slowly shrinks onto the shoreline. Has a few shots continue ringing on out by Airwax again. He's trying to hold on to this high ground, and he's being spammed down for his woes. They're able to spam down Janice as well, though. Actually, it's going to be Kinstar, though, to get the kill. Was robbed by him there. However, it is his team that still gets it. Again, only 2 kills to their names. They are going to have to go for placement here. And Airwax, he looks like he's going to try and descend himself into the chaos, getting a bit lower down each time, looking for players to kill, looking for players to hunt. Fortunately, though, it is going to be players moving out over the water. Again, a really, really awkward position to fight from, a really awkward angle to hold. And fortunately, if you fall into that water, you are going to be as good as dead, as Kinstar's got no choice but to continue this aggression towards the upwards area. But he's going to have a lot of issue connecting his builds up to a base, meaning he could be plucked from the sky any second now. Especially with a pulse bomb, he can be ready to push himself back into the zone should one be thrown up at him.
Yeah, absolutely. Things are coming down to the wire now. 10 players remaining, 5 teams left, and it's looking like the beginning of the end. The pressure is mounting on the Airwax side right now. They do have the high ground, but will they be able to retain it as Nico down in the lower? He's going to be caught in the storm by the looks of things. He's going to try and get a kill from behind, and that'd be huge. His health is shot right back up, and now he's going to scoop up the loot. He's just picked up 3 blue ARs. Not exactly the best of scenarios to be in, and now he's going to have to quickly trade that out. Once again, going to take huge damage to the store, but Airwax still on that high ground, still retaining it perfectly. He's going to continue to apply the pressure now, going to continue to spam on through with the AR. Minimal ammo left remaining as Nico drops within the water. In fact, remains alive as his Airwax got impulsed out, but he's able to retain that height, drop back down, looking for kills, looking for blood, as it's now down to the last 4 players within the server. 1 dropped, it's down to 3. Airwax still alive in this scenario. He's going to be going for materials, and now it's all on Train H Alpha. 1 versus 2. He's alone right now. He's going to have to make his move on up, and with that, Airwax catches him. The Venus fly trap of this game. He's been dominant in the later stages, and fortunately for them, they're able to pick up a victory royale. Huge amounts of points in their back pocket, and that's going to shoot them skyrocketing them up, the scoreboard into that final place. And hopefully with 1 more game to go, things are going to get mighty interesting here. We'll have to wait and see how things develop, how things go on. And my question is now, though, what exactly happened for them to get this victory? Because minimal kills, not really all too much happening in the early stages from our eventual winners. As you can see, 0 kills even in the 6th stage. It was all picked up in the later stages. But, I mean, fair play to them. They make it work. Great accuracy from Airwax there. He was able to pick up his first kill. And from there on out, things spiraled. And they were easily able to take this victory, all because of the height that they'd gained.
And yeah, just making good use of the height was Airwax, you know, just applying the pressure where he needed to, just having a look. He was actually shockwaved out of the zone, and then he managed to shockwave back in, just get back up on the height. But notice, actually, it was Train H Alpha who finished in 2nd place, and that is a very good finish for them because they were towards the top end, and I'm pretty sure that will put them in 1st place after that game. As we have a quick look at the leaderboard, I don't believe that has updated just yet. I think there will be a few more points for Alpha, Blaster, and Vitality Nikov, but absolutely insane. And I actually have a little bit of news. Lizard30, congratulations, you have actually won the Razer Viper mouse. Make sure to have your whispers enabled, and someone will get in contact with you, and we will get that sent over to you as quick as possible.
Absolutely. Again, that was an incredible game. Also, scoreboard update, so it wouldn't surprise me if this kind of top 1 to top 5 position is going to be really close. I expect about 20-30 points in it. So this final game is going to decide it all. It's going to be so important, and you do not want to miss it. We're going to go to a quick 2-3 minute break before we return with the action.
I'm looking for change. You ain't letting me play. You ain't bringing me down now. I'm a talk of the big town.
Hello, 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 and welcome to the 5th and final game of the Razer Invitational Europe. Again, this is the 3rd tournament, and frankly, we have had a unbelievable opening 4 games. Here we are for the 5th and final one, and it could actually go any way at all. I believe it's literally top 10, could be anywhere. There's no distinct leader, there's no distinct follow-up. The 3 teams to watch out for, though, are Kaspera, Alpha GG, and Refsgard. That top 3 teams, it's only about 30 points that's separating all of them, and they are all tied with this joint running for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. It's going to be very interesting to see how they fare, and, well, they're definitely teams to watch out for.
Absolutely. I'm having a look around right now towards the action. Dennis has taken some substantial amounts of damage, and so QE has simply used an impulse nade, got across, and simply going to support his teammate here right now. He's hunting for blood, and right now, I mean, I haven't really seen a start from anyone. There's so many kills going on in the feed right now. Already 83 out of 89. 3 trios have sadly left us from the beginning, but right now I'm not looking in the chat and seeing some big names. Instead, we're seeing the people rather in the mid to the bottom of the table are actually picking up huge amounts of kills in the beginning, and so this really could set a struggle for the top 3. And of course, as you mentioned, things are incredibly tight. A total of 33 points that separate them, and there's already 78 players within the server. It is absolute carnage kicking off in the early stages, and Nico, he's going to be dropped immediately, and by the looks of things, Blaster, the last man left, is alone, and I think he's just going to have to play for placements here. Excuse me, Skagan, the only man remaining on his trio as well. A lot of these people have lost some players early on, as we see a 13 now that have just been eliminated, but more importantly, already around 14 players dropped from the lobby in the first place, 15 now actually, so a heavy amount of the lobby being dropped here.
And I mean, just seeing go down there, that's Vitality Nico of Blast and Alpha. That's your number 2 team already gone. They're already eliminated. So that's definitely them out of the equation. That means Tricked, Kaspera, Fixie, their trio, and then we've got Refsgard, Scram, and Dreta as well. Also in 4th place, Airworks, Vata, and Solary Kinstar. You know, they are definitely within a shout of winning this. You know, anything can happen, especially, you know, if people go down early on, like Vitality Nico, as now we're going to see Flowers being put under a little bit of pressure. Manages to hit a nice shot, but is just going to box out and box away for the minute. Frey is taking a good bit of damage. Needs to be careful. I hear the charged shotgun being charged up. Braniel going to take a little bit of damage. Kinsel actually is going to be knocked in the meantime. A lot of pressure being put now. One last going to try and track here. Switches over to the shotgun. Hits a nice shot. Edit onto Flowers. Manages to get the kill, but he's going to be knocked. And he is going to be finished. One last now. Saved by his teammates. He is going to be revived. They're already on 4 kills, and we're already down to 67 people, and this is the quickest, the most fast-paced game we've had all day.
Without a doubt. And for now, we are going to see again this little lull. Well, I say a little lull, actually, it's not a lull at all. We've actually seen a fairly aggressive opening game for the most part. Kuji falls, Wakey falls, as well as Kazunak able to just clear that little area of the map again. This is a fairly western-oriented zone, and usually we see it kind of lean towards Colossal Colosseum, so I'm glad to see zones back down towards the swamp area. And it also means that with the regeneration in the water, it means that we're going to see really kind of coastal-oriented zones, in of which we see just some very dynamic gameplay. So I can't wait to see how it fares. But for the most part, it looks like a lot of teams are just going to be trying to stack up on some fish, trying to stack up on resources before they commit to a full push elsewhere, before they commit to their rotation.
Yeah, absolutely. Early doors, and we've already lost a round to a third of our lobby. I mean, a little bit more than that, obviously, but so many players dropping in the early stages. It is just unbelievable what we've seen so far. It's quite interesting to see as we jump now towards Weeping Woods. Pickus and his trio still very much in the picture for this game. We've already lost 7 trios, and that is unbelievable, considering as well that there's 3 trios that didn't connect to this game. Maybe they have problems, I don't know. But most certainly, with that being said, I'm having a look right now, and these people that you were talking about, you know, the 4th, your 5th place, huge opportunities. Now we saw Vitality, Nico, Blaster, and Alpha take a quick exit in game number 5. It could scream horror for everyone else in the server right now, and an opportunity for quite literally everyone to come back into this game. The question is, though, will it be able to happen? As Blaster, the last man left, going to get ticked down by the flames ever so slightly, down to 89 points of health, but still trying to stay within the picture for this game. He's trying to hide, trying to simply play as patient as possible, and now he's going to try and hide behind rocks. He's not going to draw any attention to himself by building. He just wants to get out of this area quickly, so everyone's a happy man. This guy is simply just going to go away, and he's going to try and swim as far out as possible, so these 2 players on the island do not catch him off guard at all.
And I mean, I thought actually this trio was eliminated. It was actually only Nikov that went down and Alpha, but Blastor is surviving, so they still do have a chance. I wonder, has he picked up any of the reboot cards? I'm not too sure. And we're going to move on into the POV of the Game 1 winners of Scram, Rescard, and Andretta. Yet to pick up a kill. You know, nobody really towards Steamy stacks that they can fight with. We actually see 2 Riftfish on Scram, which could come into effect. He has a lot of choke splashes as well. Going to move on over to Alpha, who's been put under a little bit of pressure by Onyx Wings and Fire Hunter and that trio. They haven't had the best of days. Fire Hunter, Onyx Wings, and Kanda, or sorry, not Kanda, Jams Hood. You know, they've been put under a little bit of pressure. You know, they were knocked out early on, but I wonder, can they make a game of this one? Of course, they're definitely out of the run, no chance of them winning. But it'd be interesting to see if they can pick up a victory in the last game and maybe ruin somebody else's day, as we're going to see Alpha build up here. Going to go for a few shots here, managing to tag up Onyx Wings. Only a tiny bit, just a smidge, and he needs to get a move on to get up to his teammate to help him out. Kanda could be put under a lot of trouble. He is just going to box up for the moment. Just waiting to see if anyone is going to drop on down. He's now going to edit into Janssen's box, having a look around to see if he can spot anyone out, as we see now Rabid putting a bit of pressure onto a player that is just in the air flying. Won't be able to get a kill. Tagged him up for a wipe, but it won't be enough. And with 62 players left in the server, we are going to see actually Kanda be knocked here from Fire Hunter. We're going to jump back over into the action area scene. Being put under a little bit of pressure. Needs to just put a wall, put a ramp in between them. Going for a little edit shot. He's just holding the wall for a minute, but the spam is going to come in through. He is going to be taken out of the game, and it's a 3 kills picked up there for Fire Hunter.
A really, really great opening for Fire Hunter there. And I really like teams that still play. I love how they don't give up and leave even if they don't have a chance of winning the money. I love how they enter with the sole purpose of ruining the days of those who could. And that makes it a hell of a lot more competitive, and it means that we do get to keep up with the excitement. As Bad Sniper pushes forward, ready for his second engagement with Fire Hunter. And so that's interesting, actually, as this is the 3rd time in a row in which Bad Sniper and Fire Hunter have had an engagement towards this area. So both teams, they exchange blows, they exchange contact, but they don't commit to fighting one another just yet. We are going to see their structure burning slowly but surely as well, so that's going to start negating their cover. But for the most part, it looks like this is going to be a rotation away rather than a full commitment to a fight.
Absolutely, Nate. Actually, he's going to eat your words out, Krimmer, as he pushes on up and he tries to take the high ground away, and he does so successfully. He's got to be careful of the play below him. Oh my god, damage shredding through the shield. Down to around 40 points of health, and he actually gets dropped to Bad Sniper. That's huge. Hykrist going to take a bullet to the head, though, in the meantime, and it is going to be Fire Hunter to finish the job. Hykrist dropped from the server completely, and now Nate looking for vengeance. He's looking for his opportunity back in, and he'll try to find it now. He's going to continue to try and get on in the boxes of his opposition, as Bad Sniper Sniper makes his way on forward as well. It's going to be the pincer from both angles, but they've got to be cautious of the HP that they've got remaining because they are the man down right now, and they've got to be very cautious of their next moves if they're not careful enough. This charged shotgun, bad Sniper delivers on so many levels. Onyx wings drop to the floor and drop completely. Nate gonna land a shot with the Dragon's Breath as well. The purple variant of it as well, and now it's all down to Firehunter. He is no more. Bad Sniper and Nate, they make it work, and your contenders possibly an opportunity for them now as the door opens wide for them to get back into this game. Maybe too little too late, but most certainly delivering right now, and that's the most important part. High Chris falls, but every opportunity for this team to try and get back into the picture.
And I mean, Firehunter there became the fire hunted. Fire was definitely not his friend as that Dragon's Breath shotgun rattled him for 132. Had to use a bouncer to get out, but it wasn't enough. Hykrits putting the pressure on him, getting the kill, and, you know, adding some more points to the board. And I believe they are still in contention. I believe they are somewhere near the top of the leaderboard. So we might see a big game coming out from him, but now we are gonna, or from that trio, should I say, but we are now going to see Sheer putting a little bit of pressure onto the team below. We're going to see Tohaj get knocked and get finished off. Vitality Airwalks going to pick up that one. Sejunik now applying pressure to Wave, Janice, and Andlix, and it's actually Tua that has been knocked and taken care of. Sejunik loses one of his trio and actually decides that he's just going to back away. Maybe these are not the droids you're looking for. You definitely don't want to get engaged with these, and Sheer is finding that out the hard way. Down to 27 HP, he's going to get knocked, and Sejunik is going to be all alone, but they're going to know exactly where he is because the shakedown comes in, the execute comes in, and he needs to get out of dodge while he can.
Once again, the players stacked up at the ready. So Snake, again, because he has lost his team, he is having to play as passive as humanly possible. He's going to slowly back on away. He'll bring out a few sniper shots wherever possible, just to, you know, warn people of his presence to say, you know, don't come near me. But he still needs to be careful because the reality is he is still alone, and it looks like he is going to be hunted by Wave and MSES as they both start charging towards him, and in just a moment they will spot Snake as he hides towards the top of this building. Sniper in hand, switching to that M4 for the close range, and as Andelix swifts on forward, they'll spot him out. They'll do a bit of damage wherever possible. It's going to be a bit of a tag either way, as Sejunik, he'll end up having to go into the storm in an attempt to escape as we get inside the building. Again, shifting forward, waiting for them to come to him. Little does he know, though, he doesn't have any rotating utility. Instead, he's got to have to either run or kill all three members around him.
Opportunity most certainly slim in this scenario. He's going to spot the builds on out, and they still know that he's in the storm, and so their eyes are going to be turned to exactly where he was spotted last. And for Janek, I mean, it's not a bad opportunity for him to try and locate elsewhere. He's got 4 floppers. He can most certainly find healing elsewhere, and he can simply run south, run away from these players, and then find his way towards the south side of this current trio, who are looking quite on form today. But looking at the zone right now, I mean, a lot of players towards Salty Towers, a fair few teams scattered across the Weeping Woods, and Ollie Hedges as well has got some company, but Salty Towers most certainly where the action's going on right now. As by the looks of things, it's going to fall to a grinding halt. 39 players. I've never seen a zone this big and with such a low count in this tournament so far. And here we can see Kinstar, Vato and Airwax in the storm right now, but they have a cart, and they can simply move on forward towards the zone. Not a lot of loot in on their pockets right now. I'm seeing a large pot, obviously the blue tack and the legendary pistol, but other than that, no healing, no nothing to their name, as Demon is going to try and build on up. Salty Towers most certainly filled with action right now. Demon pulling the trigger, but unfortunately, with both his teammates falling, he's only got one opportunity, and that is to get on out, and everyone's chasing him down right now as he lands at 139 and 96 as well. He's just doing damage at this point, trying to ruin the day, and unfortunately, it will fall short. Very well played from them. They'll continue to move on in, but Shanik, in the meantime, looking at his positioning, I mean, he might just die to the storm. I mean, in this sort of scenario, is there a way out? Jack, I'm wondering, what do you think about this? I don't think that his game plan's quite right. I think, you know, you're either going to give loot to them, so you might as well just run as far away as possible and try and disallow them of everything he's got on them.
I mean, he does have the floppers available, but you know, the storm's ticking for 2, and you are just going to be camped out. There's not a lot you can do. You have bouncers available, but if you use that bouncer, you know, you are just going to be lasered out of the sky. He has to maybe hope for a knock. He's going to use a bouncer and go towards the left to build up, but I mean, you're just going to be held here. There's not a lot you can do. Wave Janice and his trio will definitely pick up this kill, but it actually looks like they've backed away. Now, have they allowed him to get out of the storm? And yeah, they have. They have just disengaged completely, which is absolutely baffled me for the minute. But here it is, the pressure now. He is very, very low, around 70 HP altogether, as he is going to build up. He is just blocking the bullets for the minute, but Wave Danis now, he's intrigued. He wants to get up close and personal. He is trying to hit a few shots here. Danik still alive for the moment, but I doubt for long as the storm begins to move in. Wave Janice now taking a little bit of damage. Shanik is down to about 15 HP. He's going to tick for 2 in this storm as well. He's going to be boxed out, and he is definitely going to die to storm now. And he is no more. Wave Janice will pick up that kill. And 13 trios remain. 35 players are left in the server. Peter, it's heating up a little bit.
Tell you what, for Janik, fair play to him. Like, he stayed alive for a good, 5 minutes more than he should have. So he continued to just be a nuisance to this wave and MSE's side, and fair play to him. Fair play to him. That damage he just ended up racking up against them worked admirably, and now these guys have to sprint towards the next zone out of position. And if we look, there's going to be another team waiting for him. The thing they did to him is about to happen to themselves as they push on forward into the awaiting arms of this other team.
Yeah, looking though, the size of the storm compared to the amount of players, this most certainly will slow down. I think it's just going to come to a grinding halt in the near future. As for this trio right here, Laurie, Freddy, and Kyra, we haven't really heard all too much from them. You know, I mentioned their names a couple of times when we've seen them throughout the stream here and there, but I don't think there's been a star performance from them today. Possibly going to try and get on up in that scoreboard. Looking right now, they are placed 14th before this game started, and so most certainly out of the prize pool category, unless if they get an absolute game and a half in. I mean, 6 kills already, a victory royale most certainly could push them up 100 and so points, and that would really put them in great standing. 230 to be precise. They'd need a little bit more to push the top 3. Refsguard, Scram, and of course Endretta in that prize pool location of 3rd place heading into game 4. 255 points to their name. I haven't even seen their names though, so I'm quite concerned as to think, are they still in this server? I mean, Pharrell's just been dropped, you know, Holy's been dropped by Browner as well, and so I'm wondering, I think we've just lost Alpha's team and Refsguard's team, because I haven't seen them in the kill feed for basically the entirety of the game now.
Yeah, I wonder actually, have we lost them? I'm not too sure myself, to be honest, as we now move on in. The team that are definitely in here are Wave, Janice, Andalix, and Zuck on top. They begin to move on in. 15 seconds till the 4th zone begins to move, and it looks like we're going to have a weeping finish. And there'll definitely be a team weeping by the end of this one, because, you know, people will feel pretty hard done by if they don't come out with the victory now. But Storm is going to begin to move in, as we have 30 players now left in the server. And I wonder, you know, who is just still alive? Who do we have, you know, that are in around the top? Actually, Andrea is still alive. They're still definitely in with a chance. Pixie as well. Pixie and Zinni, that is, as they now go to have a look. Top 11 for the minute. People looking for a bit more placement. Everybody just trying to get into zone. There's not really too much going on for the minute. Everybody happy enough just to box up, and we probably see maybe a little bit more action towards when the 5th storm and 6th circle, you know, begin to move on in. But for now, you know, there is silence among the Weeping Woods. Everybody is just happy enough. You hear the crickets chirping. Nobody's shooting at all, and it's really quite peaceful.
Peaceful. It's a weird word to hear when you're about to hit the 5th storm, isn't it? Again, everyone realized this is the last game. Placement is the only thing that matters. Kills, it's great if you can get them, but they're not going to be what saves you. The placement means everything. We're going to wait for them to come through, and once again, this storm, it's come up, and again, it's a filthy storm. You know, no one's there. It's going to be a swift rotation for one team, but everyone else has to break their position. And the second they do so, as you can see, Laurie, he'll demonstrate it. The second anyone moves, they're just going to be hailed with a form of sniper fire.
Yeah, we're coming down to the final zones. The 5th zone, as you mentioned, it's weirdly silent. And there you go. I thought that Andretta, Scram, and Resgard were removed from this game. But fortunately, they're still alive. They're still kicking. And so an opportunity for them to jump to second has certainly presented itself. As long as they've got kills in their pocket, even if they take an early exit. And as long as Airwax, Vatato, and Kinstar can't come back. Or rather, you know, that trio, they are... you know, in a decent chance of actually of taking themselves in a top 3 position now, as Laurie going to take an initial engagement to the north side of the current zone, as he'll fire off the charge shotgun, not connecting just yet, and things are becoming interestingly more suspenseful. Everyone right now trying to play for placements. Of course, the 5th and final game, the pressure is like no other. This really is a cooker, and everyone's sort of steaming in it right now because everyone is looking to try and make their way up that scoreboard. A sudden finish for people could land themselves top 5, and that is, of course, within the prize pool area. So everyone giving it their all, heading into the last probably 30 seconds of this zone, and probably the last 5 minutes of Fortnite of action we're going to get of this weekend.
And yeah, and what a weekend it's been. Hopefully the finale is going to live up to expectations, but I have absolutely no doubt about that. We're going to move into the POV of Solary Kinstar, what everybody really wants to see, because these are definitely challengers, as now Vato is going to be knocked and Airwalks is going to go down, and now Kinstar is in a little bit of trouble. He's in a world of hurt. Could he go down? Could he be the 11th trio eliminated? And oh my, look at all the bullets. Look at the chaos going on. He's 3 HP. One more bullet is going to do it. He's managing to survive, but it's going to be Demon Archer to take him down. Wave Janice now getting a knock onto Blackie. He's very, very low, 19 HP. He's going to get knocked. It is going to be Duck on top. That is going to be able maybe to get the res. I believe Andalix is on them as well, just to hold the res. Janice getting a little bit lucky that his teammates were there to help him out. The 6th Storm now going to begin to move. There is a Riftfish in hand. We're going to move on over to Navi Sator, as now he has a look. He's just gliding on in. He's happy as long as he's not being pressured. You know, he's happy just float. The same with Janice, the same with Andalix and Duck on top as well, using that rift to their advantage to move on in. And we've 10 trios left in the server, 27 teams in this last game. This is gonna get very, very hectic.
Without a doubt. Again, that mass exodus towards the sky meant that there's going to, again, be another lull in the battle, but there isn't a lull out of natural causes. It's a lull just so the death can be calculated and honed as it rains from above. So again, Janice to take a bit of early damage on his re-entry to the battle. He'll end up being able to heal up in time, but fortunately, it's at this stage of the game where health matters more than shield, simply because once you do get caught out by that zone, even if it's for a couple of ticks, it's certainly going to stack up and you're certainly going to feel it. And now, though, they'll slowly make their way on forward. Janice and Andelix and Co, they continue shifting forward, able to build up a little bit, trying to get towards the sky, but for the most part, they seem to be happy in their own little bunker, trying to weed out anyone else who tries to cower on this bottom row with them.
Yeah, and this is going to be the most important fight of the day here. You see number 3 fighting number 1. This really is going to, or rather not number 1. It is going to be an interesting fight, though, because if Janice may manage to dethrone the current 3rd place, then it really could put them in a good position. Of course, this team being 5th place, not 1st, excuse me. You know, it could be a huge opportunity. Already 4 kills between them. Placement points going to start ringing on in. There's 9 teams remaining. The zone is increasingly getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and it's going to force people into a very confined space, and that is something that players particularly cook in the pressure for. It's going to be most certainly everyone right now boiling to try and get in on the action at the same time. They're trying to play for those placements. It's finding that balance. And as for Demon and Fast Rocky, they're going to simply sit on the high ground. I think they are the current victors of height. In fact, no, they're not. Oh, this could be unfortunate. Oh, I think it did land, but he's caught in the box with someone he did not want to be in. In fact, Rescar's just gone down to Janice. That's a huge kill. Scram's been caught out as well. Rescar finished. And now, that is the 3rd place contenders. Already lost 2/3 of their roster. Could be just the 3rd as well, as it's going to be Kairai that falls. Freddy that's fallen as well. Fast Rocket to get back into the zone. Save it dropped the zone finishing the job. Demoniaker fallen, Savid knocked. Everyone is dropping like flies as Browner and Rapid, the only two players remaining of this initial trio. Savid, of course, the only man to fall within it. And now saw Toos as well up on top, the high ground there. Oh, Rapid finds Duck on top and immediately gets dropped for his sins. But there's the 11 players, 5 people remaining. My word, are things getting interesting. More and more players dropping. It's 4 teams, 9 players. By the looks of things, it's still going to be Browner that eventually falls. Duck on top to drop. Janice, the last man remaining. 4 players, 2 teams. It's a 3-man and Janice picked from the sky. Victory Royale for Toos, Kiarchi and Seventor. A very valiant performance from them. But looking at the scoreboard, I don't know. I don't think they'll squeeze a top 5 finish out of that, to be quite honest with you. But most certainly ruffled the feathers of the top 3. And of course, we'll find out very, very shortly on who's claimed themselves that pole position, that #1 prize, and at the same time, the 2nd and the 3rd. Because we saw, and hopefully we'll catch in the entire moments, that a very high contender was dropped in the early stages. And that was the cause of catastrophe throughout this game.
And yeah, we're going to move on into the intel moments for the last time today. Natesofi doing a lot of damage there onto the team above, as now he actually got really aggressive here onto Firehunter, hit a nice shot into the head. Demon was then pushed. He got into his box, not a lot he could do. And we move on in and we see Janice floating in. I believe Janice finished in 2nd place, so a good performance from himself and his trio. Over Demon getting knocked for Strokey, then down on the low ground, having a look to see what he can find. He got put under a lot of pressure, managed actually to get a knock, but it wasn't enough. He was taken down then soon after. Rabbit getting a knock onto Duck on top, but he was knocked himself in return. Browner trying to just survive. He had 2 floppers, but oh, surprise, in the back, Cindy taking him down, and then Wave Janice trying to shockwave players out of the zone. It did not work. It was 3 against 1, not a lot he could do. And it's going to be Gambit 2, Scarachi and Navitor that picked up their first victory of the day for the final game. And I mean, what a day it's been. I wonder what the leaderboard is going to look like. But make sure to go ahead and type !vote in the chat. Join the Discord and vote for your Intel MVP. Make sure to go ahead and do that, and we will be giving the winner of that an extra €500.
Yep, absolutely. And of course, €500, that's definitely not money to turn your nose up at. So go ahead, join that Discord. Go ahead and let us know who you think the MVP should be. But in just a moment, we should have the winner. Actually, I'll quickly refresh the War Legend page. Looks like it hasn't been fully calculated just yet. Again, might be ready in just a moment, but we've seen some incredible games today. It was literally the difference in tiers of play, styles of play over the last couple of days. You know, first day it was very, very early game oriented. Second day is that 5th, 6th zone. And again, today it's been that 6th/7th zone, and then that final zone where we see every single kill happen. Everything is in preparation for that final skirmish, that final onslaught. And well, we haven't been disappointed at all, have we, lads?
No, most certainly. Here we go. It has been refreshed fully, and you see your champions and the Lex, Squeeze, and Janice. Of course, a great performance from them. Not a single victory, but most certainly their placement consistent. Look at that. 4th, 2nd. Unfortunately, game 3, they took an early exit for them. And in fact, I'm not sure if that's fully updated because it says they've only played 4 games. And if I'm honest with you, I don't believe they did that in 4. Unbelievably, if they did, I wouldn't expect, maybe they did. Maybe they absolutely stopped the competition with only 4 games. I'm not too sure. Maybe the scoreboard's yet to update, but congratulations to them. And of course, our winners of Game 5, scrape 2nd place, 3rd place being captured by Fixie, Casper, and of course, Pi as well. So congratulations to everyone from there. 4th and 5th, don't go away empty-handed either. They still get some awesome rewards that Razer will send you guys as well. But what a weekend this has been to think, you know, we started basically on you know, the first day, 2,507 teams, I think it was, that signed up. And now we whittled down to the final 33. What a day of action. What a day of carnage. And most importantly, we've seen some unbelievable plays. But the fun does not stop there. You can sign up to the rest of the tournaments. Of course, we're halfway through now, the end of our third tournament, but there's still 4, 5, and 6 ahead of us, all the way through till the end of January, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, for the next 3 weeks. And of course, we'll be here sitting right here at the caster's couch waiting for you all to join us. Maybe you can catch yourself on a stream and maybe you can be the next champion of a Razer Invitational Cup in the Europe region. It has been an absolute pleasure, of course, as always, and hopefully that's going to be the end of this one for this week. But of course, that's all we've got time for today. We'll see you guys next Thursday with more action, more carnage, and even more amazing plays. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you all soon.